Hello, everybody. Hello, how are we always doing? Hey, Lowless Rain. Apparently there's an experience point system now? That's whack. Spooky Pepper 6900, you got a new apartment? I'm fucking jelly. I'm so sincerely jealous, not even joking. I would love a new apartment. Speaking of which, if you would like to help me get a new apartment and pay my bills and stuff, all these bills have hit at around the same time. So the link down below, the Ko-Fi link, donations are very much appreciated there because I don't have to wait over a month for them to get into my account. And Ko-Fi gives me a way better percentage than YouTube or Twitch. So if you want to send me some money for Pride, I would super appreciate it because I put too much towards my debt with my last YouTube paycheck and it has left me severely underfunded at the moment, and I don't like begging for money. Is there a Discord I can, you can share it to me. Faye Cirrus, thank you for 5 months. Oh yeah, lady needs food real quick. All right, I'll be right back. What, do you want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? She says, no, I want violence. I crave violence. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Says, I hunger. Mother, I hunger. I hunger, mother. Yes. Alrighty. Happy Pride. Yes. Use the Ko-Fi. If you can, I very much appreciate it. Alter, sorry, I'm needing to switch around on my lights and stuff. There we go. Hey, Lane. Thank you, Official McMothy. You can send it to any social media account of mine you can find. DM should be open on, like, Insta. Do you suggest carrying? So, Spooky Pepper, we're going to talk about that. I have a whole thing I want to get into. Once we get a couple more people in here, I really want to talk about safety at Pride and how people need to be focusing on it. Happy Pride, Sabine. Silky Girl, 303, Happy Pride. Fail safe, howdy, howdy. Howdy, 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 howdy. Thank you, William Elliott. What was I doing? Oh, yeah, that's what I was doing. It is. I'm gonna Spooky Pepper. I'm definitely gonna talk about like staying armed at Pride, because especially with some of the headlines we'll be talking about, there's gonna be a lot of conversation. What? Can y'all hear the cat now yelling at me? Oh my goodness, animals. All right, sorry. I'm trying to adjust my camera. All right. I am going to feed my cat now, I guess. And then we will get started. Juno, dear, woof. Hey, Juno. Gosh, I can't believe you've been subbed to me. Juno, I can't believe you've been my sub for 4 months. I forgot what I was saying. Hey, not so fast. What? Oh, I thought you liked it fast. I'm sorry. Transitory. Happy Pride, everybody! And to celebrate, I'm gonna be cracking open a nice, delicious Celsius brand energy drink. Not a sponsor, but I would gladly take a sponsorship if anybody has an in. I am, however, I will say, I do have a sponsorship. I do have a sponsorship. Okay, kind of. Irish DC, thank you for 15 months in a row. I have been, so these are going to start popping up. I'm going to start putting the links down in my videos for people to go to, because now I have a sponsor link. So give me a second. So I was approached, and I don't usually shill shit, but I was approached by Smackin' brand sunflower seeds. And I've often said I would not shill any product I myself do not eat or consume or use on a regular basis, which is why I feel comfortable in saying, so thanks to Smackin' for sending me a box of their delicious flavored sunflower seeds in 12 flavors that I have literally not been able to stop snacking on for like 2 weeks now. They are delicious. This is a barbecue, backyard barbecue sunflower seed flavor. I wrapped it up because I take them with me to like magic games and shit. And it's actually becoming a problem because I will just like grab them by the handful, and then when it gets to be my turn, I'm still trying to mac through my sunflower seeds. So I'm just like, to like sour cream and onion. Or the one that I was like, oh my gosh, this is goated is, okay, I'll be right back. I'll go. Is because you wouldn't expect it, right? Cinnamon churro sunflower seeds. Like, not like you think, okay, sour cream and onion, lemon pepper, backyard barbecue, all great flavors, but like they go with the kind of salty flavor. Cinnamon churro sunflower seeds are so fucking good. Like, I cannot say it enough. And like, and here's the fucking thing. Honestly, I'm not even, so I get paid. I have yet to be paid. But the deal I have is that I basically get commission off of, if anybody uses my link to get 10%. Here's how the math works out. If you go to smackinsunflowerseeds.com/dead domain, I believe, that should give you the affiliate. That should be the affiliate link, and I'll start adding these to videos and stuff. I get 20% of the 10% off after tax. That's my commission, basically. So like, it is going to be far from I'm expecting like literally nothing, like very little to come out of this. It is more to get the ball rolling on other things. But yeah, if y'all want to, because I realize there are probably a lot of people who do like sunflower seeds. Here's the thing. I have never been a sunflower seed person. Back in high school, people had them all the fucking time. It was never me. I just never did. However, like I said, I have not been able to stop fucking eating these things. Like, at all. They are so good. And they're not like, I don't want to sell them as like a health food. I don't want to do an RFK Jr. here because, you know, it's like 3.5 servings per container, 220 calories per serving. That's mostly going to be like salt, onion powder, garlic, paprika, soybean oil. It's actually not terrible ingredients either. But they are not, this is not like a protein snack or anything. Like, it's not healthy, healthy per se. But damn. Yeah, so that is just a little bit of me spreading my seed to you, audience. Enjoy my seed. Need that affiliate link and such for the chat ads. I'll start putting it in on other things. I am not like I didn't prepare for it. I just wanted to talk about it. Official McMothy YouTube. Sorry to be off topic, but how do you maintain your skincare? I've been breaking out so much lately and it's stressing me out. I mean, ooh, that would slap on a salad. If you don't have a problem eating the shells, which I've been informed you're not supposed to do. Like, yeah, damn. So skincare for me, you have to have a regimen. That's the most important thing with skincare is you have to have a regular balance of the things you're doing. You want to, there's a ton of different things that you have to take into account. Like you have to take into account the climate you live in, whether it's dry, whether it's more humid. You have to take into account your own personal skin and preference. Maybe even take into account like supplements for helping with skin. But what I do for my skincare is I've recently started using a firming, like a daytime firming cream, but for the most part, I just at night, I wash my face with a cleansing moisturizer. And then if I am feeling a little like greasy or which is very rare, but if I do start breaking out by any chance, because here's the other thing that helps is diet. Like straight up, since I have started eating way less red meat, way more salads and greens, way more fruits and vegetables, even if they're dried, and way more protein, I've had so many less breakouts. But keeping moisturized is also a really important thing, and I have to stay moisturized because I get electrolysis. Like I have a little bit of stubble growing right now because I have electrolysis tomorrow. Yeah. And so, okay, so for a nightly routine, you want a cleanser. And that's gonna be like your face wash. Just don't use regular soap. Get a actually formulated like face cleanser. Yeah, zinc is good. I've started taking zinc recently. Zinc is good for a lot of things. You know that, Juno. Face cleanser, and then I have two moisturizers I put on. Well, technically I have two moisturizers. I have a like nighttime firming, rejuvenating, whatever the fuck. It has like collagen and stuff, and that's just like okay, this is gonna, I let it sink in for a little bit. However, what I don't do is I do different a different moisturizer for under eyes, and it's actually fucking worked, shockingly, because for the longest time I had terrible under eye bags, and I swear by God, what is the all right, I'll go get it. This isn't going to be another product thing, but I legitimately, like, you can go back and watch it. I still have a little bit of under eye bags, but like for years and years. And you can go back and like watch older videos and stuff, and like I'm wearing very little makeup right now. It's basically just the eyeshadow. Yeah, so give me just 1 second. So the thing I use for my under eye bag, so I'll do a firming like overnight mask, not a mask, it's just a moisturizer, and then Laneige, which is a Bouncy and Firm eye sleeping mask, and this is good shit. This is like legitimately good shit. Can straight up not recommend it enough. I just put like a little bit under each eye, after the other stuff is dried. And then I usually wait a couple hours until after I wake up, or like if I'm going for a run in the morning, I'll just put on sunscreen really quick. I use Neutrogena sunscreen. I was using Supergoop last year. And Supergoop is really great because it goes on super easy. It doesn't leave any like white marks or white streaks. It is just also fucking expensive as shit. And I have not, I don't have the money to spend on it this year. So I got a Neutrogena, like clear spray on one that is doing the trick. Doing the trick really nice. How's that spelled? Laneige is spelled Laneige, or Laneige. Laneige? Laneige. That's how it's spelled. And so, Laneige. And then I have a second, like, kind of daytime moisturizer that I put on after that. So, acne scars? Ugh. I don't know. I don't have, like, honestly, what little bit of acne scarring I have, I feel has gone away over time, like, especially as I've started taking estrogen and stuff. Have a good night, William. Hope you come back. It is not Goop as in Gwyneth Paltrow. I do not believe so. It seems far too like useful. But I think it is just, yeah, vitamin C is great. I think it's just named because all the product is kind of like a goop or a paste. I think that's just kind of like the brand name. But yeah. No jade eggs. Yeah, and I got Supergoop. I got, speaking of Sephora, which somebody pointed out you can get Supergoop at Sephora, Laneige. I also got at Sephora on Twink's recommendation. So, howdy. Well, Mackenzie, and so I had somebody, and if they're listening, they know who they are. I don't think I've actually seen them today, but or lately. I had a friend of the show send me a care package because I've mentioned before I have trouble sleeping, which this will shock you. And neurodivergent queer has trouble sleeping in their 20s. But one of the things that I haven't really tried until recently has been edibles for sleeping, and I don't know if it's working. I do know I've probably been taking too much. Because the last couple nights, not even the last, it hasn't been consecutive, but like I took one edible out of a pack and like, I think I fell asleep too early. I did not feel anything at all. And that's why I said, I think I fell asleep before it kicked in. So a week later, mind you, I should preface this by saying like, I am incredibly low tolerance. I don't smoke weed. I don't do like edibles or anything. I do not do them with any kind of regularity. So my tolerance is like so low. Now, 10 milligram edibles, let me go see. They are... Dog. It says 200 milligram THCs. But that can't be... Okay, hang on. No, so they'd be 10 milligram. Okay, because it's THC per serving 10 milligrams. Yeah, so 10 milligram edibles They are a CBN THC blend. I don't know what any of that shit means. And so I took, because one, I was like, okay, this didn't do anything. So I took 1.5. And it's been like yeah, it just got me. Like, I didn't do anything crazy or goofy. Well, I did text one of my partners some fairly goofy stuff, but like it's just being like regular high goofy. Nothing really noticeable enough. You get the deep down paranoids too. I mean, no, I haven't noticed that. Do they have melatonin in them? It doesn't. They're called snooze. I mean, it doesn't look like they do. Not that I can see. Yeah, no, it kicked my ass for sure. Like I was definitely, there were points where I was just staring at the ceiling feeling like, oh, I'm just melting into the covers right now, which is fine. Like like I am also, I should say, in addition to being a lightweight, I am also incredibly cautious about my drug intake and drug usage. Like I'm not one of these people that's out here like doing party stuff on the reg. Anywho, today, chat, I want to talk about Pride 2025, the big thing on everybody's minds right now, especially as we're about to see. There have been kind of already some incidents that, while not conclusively, seem incredibly motivated by homophobia or transphobia. And these are going around. We will be talking about some of them. And it brings me to the idea of safety at Pride and how, if you are planning to go to Pride, because every year I get new people saying, hey, I want to go to Pride. What are your tips? What should I do? I'm worried about going alone. That kind of stuff. So I want to kind of talk through the logistics of Pride, going to Pride in a group, how you can personally stay safe, who you should get in contact with to stay safe, what you should look out for, and just try and help spread some quality information that will keep people safe and focus on community engagement at Pride. Because more than ever, I think this year, we need to be looking out for each other. So I want to go, let's look at, oh, I forgot I had pulled that one up. That was for research for something else. Yeah, transitory. If you want to drop that link, feel free. AC Valens, oh my goodness, Anna, thank you so much. Storm over Kryn, thank you for subscribing for 3 months in a row. The Good Convo, thank you for following. Kara's at Astra. The Red Seraph, I missed a, oh my gosh, AC Valens rated me with a party of 37. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ayachi Taki, thank you for following. Aw, thank you. I like being adored. So, I want to start by talking about this thing that happened. And while I feel the need to stress, because I need to do my journalistic due diligence in addition to, I would not be using my platform responsibly if I did not preface this by saying that while this Facebook post, which is from Jonathan Joss's husband, ascribes the actions to homophobic hate, the police have come out and said that as they're investigating this crime and this murder, they have not found any reason to suspect that. Now, on a personal level, I kind of think that's bullshit, judging by everything that's said here. That being said, like everybody else, I am ultimately unfamiliar with the situation, and I am taking on faith the words of his husband. So that is my personal input. Glean from that what you will. But according to Jonathan Joss's husband, I will just read this whole thing because it is honestly incredibly heartbreaking. Oh yeah, like don't get me wrong, I don't trust the police. By any stretch. I am not saying that, but I am saying that, oh gosh, I have dog hair in my nose probably. I am not saying that like, oh yeah, no, go ahead and trust the police. Like that's not what I'm getting at all. Statement from Tristan Kern de Gonzalez. My husband, Jonathan Joss, and I were involved in a shooting while checking the mail at the site of our former home. That home was burned down after over 2 years of threats from people in the area who repeatedly told us they would set it on fire. We reported these threats to law enforcement multiple times, and nothing was done. So I'm going to pause there. I want to talk a little bit about institutional power and who these institutions, if it comes down between protesters at Pride, people at Pride, and the people assaulting, the people harassing, the people protesting, the police are not going to prioritize, more likely than not, the police are not going to prioritize the lives of queer people over the people that they much more likely actually agree with on a personal ideological scale. That is incredibly, that's one of the important parts of this story that I want to talk about, is that this was preventable. If the institutions acted as they purport to, as we are constantly told they are designed to, if at this point cops took action upon themselves to prevent further harm to this family, which is what we're constantly told they do, this person would not be dead right now. That is one thing I need everybody to keep in mind moving into Pride, is that the most important thing I think you can remember is that we have to depend on each other. The community has to depend on itself. While you'd like to say, hey, somebody just rolled up with a U-Haul van full of Proud Boys, call the cops. At the end of the day, there is no guarantee how that will work out in your favor. There just isn't. And I want people to keep that in mind moving forward. Back to the piece. Throughout that time, we were harassed regularly by individuals who made it clear they did not accept our relationship. Much of the harassment was openly homophobic. When we returned to the site to check our mail, we discovered the skull of one of our dogs and its harness placed in clear view. This caused both of us severe emotional distress. We began yelling and crying in response to the pain of what we saw. While we were doing this, a man approached us. He started yelling violent homophobic slurs at us, then raised a gun from his lap and fired. Jonathan and I had no weapons. We were not threatening anyone. We were grieving. We were standing side by side. When the man fired, Jonathan pushed me out of the way. He saved my life. Jonathan is my husband. He gave me more love in our time together than most people ever get. We were newlyweds. We picked Valentine's Day. We were in the process of looking for a trailer and planning our future. He was murdered by someone who could not stand the sight of two men loving each other. I was with him when he passed. I told him how much he was loved. To everyone who supported him, his fans, his friends, know that he valued you deeply. He saw you as family. My focus now is on protecting Jonathan's legacy and honoring the life we built together. If your concern is somehow coped with trauma or how loudly they speak when recounting injustice, or if your concern is how someone coped with trauma or how loudly they speak when recounting injustice and being ignored by authorities, then you never truly cared about my husband. Jonathan saved my life. I will carry that forward. I'll protect what he built. That's rough, obviously. I have another thing to look at really quick. This is from Tizzy ENT, who a lot of people probably know as like a pretty I want to say lefty, a pretty lib kind of TikTok creator. You will probably almost certainly recognize him from other stuff. But I want to, we are 2 days, second day of Pride. These stories are important, as important, if not more so, to remember than anybody bitching about corporate pride, than anybody saying, oh, love is love, let's just all get along, get together.
Warning, we're going to be talking about violence.
The tangible reality of what is currently happening, the massive project that's been organized against let me take that again. It's important to take into consideration the project that is being organized, not just against trans people, who are, yes, have become the primary targets of a lot of the Christian and alt-right ire online, but queer and LGBTQ people in general, because ultimately, as long as they exist and as long as they exist proudly and out in the open, and as long as they are celebrating pride and showing people, disproving people like libs of TikTok and Haya Reichek, they are still a threat to the cis heteronormative narrative that so many of these people want to push. That's just a fact. The reason why queer people are so targeted is because we represent an undermining of the status quo that they want to uphold. That places straight white men at the top and everybody else subservient to some degree or another. Now, dog, shush. I want to watch this really quick. And I want you to keep in mind the story we just read.
Against trans women, and it's barely the beginning of Pride Month. This is Tyla. She is a trans woman who lives in, or at least was in, Nashville, Tennessee. According to her post, she was at a business called Extra Space Storage, and while there, she had a violent encounter with a man who is allegedly an employee of Black Time Moving Official, again, according to her post. She said that she and a friend pulled into this business and parked in a parking space. That parking space happened to be next to the moving truck for that company, and there were 5 guys there working with the truck. And she said, I was verbally harassed by 5 grown men screaming slurs at myself and my other queer friend. We were called men. We were told we could still get our asses beat because we're men. And as we're defending ourselves, we reported to Extra Space, the business, that we were being verbally harassed by some movers on property. Even asked for an escort out to our car, which we did not get. They were like, hey, we have to leave now. We have to go back, unfortunately, to our car, which is next to these people, and they're still doing this. And employees did not help them out with that. As we walked to our car, the 5 men began verbally harassing us again. We tried to just get in the car safely without any sort of interaction. We had a screaming match outside of our vehicle until one man started walking up on us, telling us that we're still men and he could beat our asses. They went back inside the business and are like, hey, this is going on. Now they're threatening us. They're physically approaching us. They said the business took no steps to sequester them from these men. Didn't lock the doors, nothing like that. And then one of the men entered the business and this happened.
Your wife trying to get your head?
No, when he went to hit me, I could tell that he was going to hit me. Right there you can see, he got in my face, charged up, and smacked me.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
Well,
that was insane.
See, he wanted to hit me again.
Now, in her post, she's identified.
This is another thing I think people need to understand, is that the reason why I want to talk so much about Pride, and I want to preface it with these incredibly serious stories, before we talk about what should be a celebration of community and uniting behind these common causes, that we are all proud to be who we are, that we deserve our space in society. The reason I want to preface that with these conversations is to show the reality that you should not be alone. You aren't alone in this community. There are always people out there who will work with you, who will travel with you, who will help keep you safe. But going to these events out in public, you need to understand that this kind of action has been legitimized by people like Chaya Raichik, by people like Matt Walsh, by the current administration and their broadly anti-LGBTQ narratives. These people feel that they have the right, the authority to finally enact violence, which is why we need to keep community safety first and foremost in our minds when at Pride. To achieve that, there's a number of things additionally I want to talk about, but we'll finish watching this and then get to that.
Identified that guy as a Jeremiah Hendricks. He said that I assaulted him by throwing a drink in his direction. Police confirmed that that's not what happened. His attack was intentional and came from hate. This is the first time ever in Nashville I've ever felt unsafe. Terrified for my safety in that moment. A grown man twice my size, fully trying to beat me. And I think that's what all of us see in that video. She then tagged the moving company again and said, hey, is this what represents your business? And then went on to how her hand is pretty badly injured from trying to deflect that punch. Now, what I don't like is this happened on May 30th, and it's gone around quite a bit because I've been sent it a lot. And then today, I went to the Instagram of Black Tie Moving, and I see no statement. I see no post about this. I see nothing. That's also true of Dustin Black, country artist and owner and CEO of Black Tie Moving. I see no statement from him. Now, could he have maybe not heard about this? Maybe. I don't really see how.
Yeah, I kind of fucking doubt it.
Shared quite a bit on the internet about this horrible incident.
So I want to talk about, I think it's pretty much just kind of a call to action towards the rest of that there. This is from a company called Range, which operates here in Spokane, and it is a left-leaning community organizational. Yeah, no, I saw the Greenblatt thing. It is a left-leaning community organizing group that has done a lot of decent organizational work around town. Like, they aren't the PSL, right? But they've done a fair amount, and I'd argue they've actually maybe done a little bit more than the PSL. Even though they're primarily kind of more of a journalism outlet. One of the things they talked about, and this is from an article last year, and I wanted to kind of go over these points and expand on them with my personal experience, not just from protests, but also Pride. And also, as I'm going through, I want to answer any questions the chat might have, because I think we can probably expand a lot from there. Their first tip from Kate Bitts, a program manager for Western State Center, an organization that monitors extremist movements. Everybody stays safer. Told Range that attending in a group helps everyone stay safer in any type of festival setting. Quote, it's always good to use the buddy system. Bring friends, be in a group chat with those friends, and make sure you're keeping track of each other. So he suggested setting a meeting point that everyone can rendezvous at if the group gets separated and a phone gets lost or dies. To me, this kind of stuff, it's there's two halves to it, right? Like, this is common sense, like they were saying, for any festival setting. It doesn't matter if you're going to a concert. It doesn't matter if you're going to an amusement park. This is just a good idea to have. But also in terms of community defense. If you have a friend at work who's an ally, who might be a cis person, but is cool with you. If you have a friend at school who you think might be going alone, this is the time where before you go, you have a plan to squad up to make sure that if you are going for a full day, you know how to stay in contact. And there are so many little things that go along with this that I want people to keep in mind. Because if you go, and say you have a group of 4, there should be one person. If you really are going and you are fearing that there are going to be a lot of protests, a lot of backlash, depending on the part of the country you're in, if you are more in the Midwest or the South, you'll probably want to just to be safe, bring a medical kit. I know so many people who go, the first thing they think of is to bring a weapon, right? Like, oh, I'm going to Pride. I'm bringing my steel toe boots. I'm going to Pride. I have brass knuckles. I've seen people in the chat talking about how not to bring knives. I'm going to Pride. I'm bringing here's a carbon fiber nightstick that I have. Any weapon plans, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second, should be so far down the list from the levels of preparation you should be doing before that. Because if you, even subliminally, if the first thing you're prioritizing to bring to Pride is a weapon, then you are going, to all bystanders, and probably to yourself, you are going looking for a fight. And that is not what anybody needs. Especially if something happens. One of the things they talk about later in this, I'll just go there, stay alert, know your alert, emergency contacts. Do not engage. Take care of yourself. Where is the other one? Here we go. There may be protesters at the event, but event organizers ask that attendees do not engage with protesters and instead focus on having a good, safe time. If we are being real, the reality of Pride and the scary thing about it right now is how this might be subverted. But the reality is, the most protests you will probably get is a bunch of homophobic street preachers saying that, holding up signs saying slurs are going to burn in hell. Like, that's most people's experience with Pride and protesting at Pride. That'll be it. And the police will have them cordoned off across the road, probably. At worst, one of them might come walking through somewhere with a megaphone. And these are things that you are easily able to ignore, and you should. Do not give them the satisfaction of taking away for a singular moment the happiness you should have of being out and celebrating the resilience, the strength of your community and your role in it. They do not deserve the satisfaction of distracting you from that. And that's important to keep in mind. Most organizations are going to tell you this exact thing. Do not engage with protesters. Leave them the fuck alone. Volunteers from Peace and Justice Action League will be present at the park, and this is for Spokane. If you witness a situation that could be helped with de-escalation, like someone aggressively filming attendance, you can call the command center. So these are things that... So this is localized to Spokane. However, most big cities and most big groups, especially these kind of organizing bodies, will have numbers you can call. They will have volunteers. They will have their own security, not just the police wandering around doing whatever. They will have people there who are specifically, especially given, like, this is going to be mid-June for a lot of places, so it's already starting to heat up. There are going to be volunteers all around, handing out waters, handing out flyers, handing out brochures, giving away free t-shirts and stickers and shit, making sure people aren't fainting from the heat, making sure people get even sunscreen or snacks or whatever, right? Again, festival setting, there are always these things. So it is on you as an attendee to keep track of that information and know how to engage with it. As they mention here, where is... Was that higher up? Here we go. Yeah. An example from their post of efficient reporting language is, quote, I just saw 6 men wearing what looked like bulletproof vests heading east at the corner of street and street. They were carrying assault rifles. The time is 1:30. That is the kind of shit that you need to be reporting to salient authorities. Right? That is the kind of stuff that you need to get in contact with volunteers about. And I want to go back down here for a moment. While it may be tempting to bring personal protection equipment because of increased tensions and threats, Bitts said that can actually make situations more dangerous. Quote, there is no faster way to pepper spray a bunch of people who are on your side than just pull out your pepper spray in a crowd. Do not do that. If you end up, and this is maybe the most important thing I'm going to say here. If you do end up deciding to carry some kind of personal protection device, make sure it is something you feel comfortable and experienced using. Quote, if you have not practiced with whatever it is, do not bring it. I see people talking about tasers. I see people talking about knives. Do not bring a knife to Pride. Do you go look up some statistics on how knife fights go for people who bring out knives. I'm going to give you a hint. Not great. Not great. Do we need to have the great bat versus knife debate? Do we need to reiterate the Giant Bomb Grand Classic, bat versus knife? Pepper spray is an area of effect attack. Yeah, excellent way to turn a beating into a homicide. Knives, do not do. Clubs, bats, horrible optics, because like nobody is bringing a bat for self-defense. You are giving the impression that you are there to start a fight. And when it seems like you are there to start a fight, no matter how much you want to say that, oh, you're just there to in case anything happens. When other people see people, not with a gun, but with a bat, with a pipe, with any of that shit, they will take that as an invitation to scuffle. There are people who will see that and will retaliate. Now, this is also the same to consider with guns. There is a wonderful saying, armed queers bash back. And I find that to be incredibly true. This all goes hand in hand with the fact that if you are not prepared, if you are not firearm trained, you have no business bringing any firearm anywhere in public. And I'm talking like you have been training consistently at a range for 6 to 8 months. Consistently. I am talking about you don't have any accidental misfirings. Because as much as people want to play tough, and I understand, it is rough out there. It is hard to see the shit that we looked at every day. The stuff that's being encouraged against queer people on social media. It is hard to see all of that stuff and not be filled with anger and resentment. But you cannot let that cloud your judgment. It's the same thing with pepper spray. You cannot let a reaction, a knee-jerk reaction, cloud your judgment to the point where it endangers other people. Because ultimately what you should be there for is not to fight, is not to cause pain or harm or violence, but to reinforce your community. That being said, if you or somebody you know, Elena McLaughlin is a great example of somebody I would trust to carry a assault rifle to Pride. I would. Because I know she has not only good trigger discipline, but a lot of training. She is somebody who understands the gravity of what actually defense is implied by holding a weapon like that in public. And I think a lot of people don't. I want to be incredibly clear. I do not think being armed is a bad thing. I think being armed and unprepared is a bad thing. If you choose to organize in this way, you need to cover your ass so incredibly well. You need to make sure that you are in constant contact with other people who are also working on that same wavelength, who are also keeping in mind defense, helping others. If you decide, or somebody around you decides that you are carrying a gun to Pride, which again, there are going to be Pride celebrations in this country where the people across the road from you, the protesters that the police are defending, they're going to be brandishing firearms too, as a display of intimidation. I have nothing wrong with queer people doing the same to show that we are unafraid. But like I said at the beginning, any show of force, any show of resilience, of fire with fire, needs to be tempered first and foremost by an understanding of what that show implies, and more importantly, that you need to be taking care of people well before that. If you or somebody you know is carrying a firearm, they damn well better be carrying a first aid kit. They damn well better know how to apply a tourniquet. They damn well better have several bottles of water in their bag too. Because if you are not there to help anybody who needs it, you are just there for fighting. And nobody needs it. Right? The bigots are also going to be filming and posting that shit, so keep that in mind if you engage in any arguments. That is an incredibly good point. Another thing to keep in mind, I'm sure Blair White had a horribly brain dead, brain rot video last year where she went to, I did a whole video about it, where she went to Pride and was like, why are they kicking me out? Like, I'm just doing this. But like, then she would just openly lie. Like, she would literally be like, this person was yelling at me and they're going to hit me. And then the footage where she showed that was like, absolutely not that happening. Yeah, what a disingenuous, see you next Tuesday. Hey. Mantua Maker 2, I know bottles of water need to be factory sealed when going to Denver Pride. All bottles of water should be factory sealed. Like any event, doesn't matter what it is. If when you are handed a bottle of water, if it is not from a family member or a friend or somebody you know personally and it is opened, do not drink it. Again, some of these things aren't necessarily strictly to Pride. This is just a festival rule. Like, this is just like, you follow that shit if you go to a concert in an arena. Follow that shit if you go to a music festival. Like, that's common sense here. What is factory sealed? So when you know, I don't have a bottle around me to show you, but you know the little ring when you twist a cap and it makes that snapping sound? Factory sealed is when those two, the ring and the cap, are still attached. San Antonio Reporter. All right, awesome, Stella. I'm looking at this link. From the San Antonio Report, armed protesters' supporters outside all ages drag show remain largely peaceful. Allies grew to more than 150 people as the evening progressed, playing music, dancing, and chanting to drown out those who massed across the street to protest the show about to go on inside. Yeah, sunscreen is a big one too. But again, sunscreen is like sunscreen and water. If you are going out in June to any event outside, common sense, girl. Because I know there are going to be some crusty punk queers out there who prioritize bringing a knife or something instead of sunscreen, instead of water. And like, look, I've been friends with a lot of people like that. Like, we've all known people who are just fucking raring to go, who can't say no to a fight, who don't know when to back down. But this is not the time or place. And I truly, deeply hope that there is no bad event at Pride this month, this year. I think one of the reasons I wanted to call attention to this and to talk about this with everybody is to spread awareness of these things, spread awareness of what to look out for, because I feel there is this sinking feeling we all have after spending the last 6 months being so specifically targeted, especially trans people, by this administration. And now opening with a hate crime murder of a famous voice actor. And another viral post about a trans woman just being walloped, just hit in the head. If you never want the worst to happen at events like these. And I genuinely, sincerely hope everybody gets to go out and have a fun time, especially people who are getting to experience this kind of community event for the first time. But to be truly community-minded, safety needs to be everybody's primary concern. And that's not just for you, but everybody around you, everybody next to you. And that's not even talking about, like, I feel, even in my head, the worst thing is what you catastrophize, right? Like the worst thing you can think of would be like a mass casualty event of some kind. But I'm not even talking about that. On a much smaller scale, if there is somebody you see who's in a line for food or something, and it looks like they might have heat stroke, you should have a water bottle that you can give out freely. You should have 2 or 3. If you have somebody who, again, like, oh, they passed out or they fainted, somebody, you know, I don't know, cut their hand serving a kebab or whatever, and they passed out from the sight of blood, you should know somebody. You should have that mom friend on call. Be like, hey, I need a granola bar, stat, to hook somebody up with. Little acts of community kindness like that are what bring the queer community together. It is ultimately what Pride is all about. Looking out for each other, not just in spite of our differences, but because of our differences. Yes, take a CPR class as well. CPR classes, if you have I believe a Y or something around you, CPR classes should be available. I do want to finish reading this. A handful of armed people dressed in all black with their faces mostly covered stood on the pro-LGBTQ community side of St. Mary's Street, rainbow scarves tied to their tactical gear. Whew. Most didn't respond to a reporter, but one confirmed that members of the John Brown Gun Club, a leftist right group, were in attendance. All right. So this is another thing. Like some of these people. If you do decide to go in tack gear, by the way. Oh, yeah, Cedar. Fire stations do workshops, too. Absolutely right. Yep, okay, here we go. Hell yeah. So these folks, these wonderful, wonderful examples of humanity, are doing what I like to call good OPSEC. At the beginning of the year, I did a video called What is a Protest? And I talked to protesters at a very early anti-Elon, anti-Trump kind of rally. Ooh, Narcan. Great poll. Narcan. Now, if you decide to help out in any capacity, if you are going to be visible, especially like this, if you are standing on quite literally a front line between the pro-LGBTQ plus side and the absolute dipshits who will try to intimidate, harass, or even assault them. These kind of allies, or maybe queer folks themselves, are literally the first line of defense. But that also means that they're going to be some of the first people targeted. And I'm not talking about in the event of an actual scuffle or any violence. I am talking about the fact that you will have little dipshit bloggers and little 4chan freaks who will try to find who they are and try to dox them. Again, if you are not just going to be one in the crowd, if you decide that you want to engage with the community, that you want to help keep people safe, make sure your face is covered. You will notice they are wearing basically indistinguishable outfits, completely black. This is where the term black bloc comes from, by the way. Faces covered. No distinguishing marks. No visible tattoos. All the way down to completely indistinguishable, just black boots. This is the correct way. If you want to go in tack gear, if you are going with a group like this, a group that is well organized, that is not full of, people who are just looking for a fight, who are there for community defense, this is how you do it. Yeah, watch for shoes. The amount of people who get identified based on shoes is bonkers. You can put together a tack set. Yeah, so these are literally just probably black pants and sweaters or sweatshirts. It doesn't have to be super expensive. Is it threatening to dress like that, though? Not if there is... What's the one on the left wearing on their chest? That looks like... those just look like ammo pouches and a flag. Looks like they have a little flag patch. Don't take pics at protests. So, another thing to keep in mind... Actually, I forgot where the hell I was going with that. Photo of the undercover cop. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. That's another thing. Did they show a photo of an undercover cop? I don't think I saw a photo of an undercover cop. No, Cedar, we haven't done the Blair White thing yet. Oh, somebody was saying, doesn't dressing like this imply a threat? No. Because if you are standing across the street, if you have protesters, the people who are coming and are on the side that is waving flags saying that, you know, queers deserve to die and burn in hell, Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, like the classics, you know. If you have guns on that side, this is where context matters, because the two sides are not equal. You have a pride celebration where people are going to celebrate themselves, friends, family. And on the other side, you have people who want to violently subjugate, harass, and assault them, who very likely would if there wasn't a police presence. So what you have with folks like this on the pride side is the implication of defense. That the people who are there to imply harassment, make no mistake, when you see people like that bring their guns and tack gear to pride, it is a threat. They are there to threaten people, to make them feel weaker than. And the people who show up like this, who are responsible first and foremost, are there to let them know that we will not be threatened so easily. That we will not be threatened without a fight. That whatever fire they can throw at us, we can fight back with. An armed society is a polite society. I have a question. What do you think about people who bring their guns to pride in opposition to these people, as in well, that's what these folks are doing. These are pride protesters. Or pro LGBTQ protesters. These are the counter protesters. These guys are on our side. Right here. That's what these folks are doing. I don't have a problem with that, Carnell. Again, like I said, I was saying earlier, the thing I have a problem with is you have so many people who do not understand responsible gun control. Like, there are people who straight up need to be smacked and have guns taken away from them. Have I ever told the story of the time somebody dropped a gun right next to me at a bar? I was with a friend like years ago now, at least 5 or 6 years ago. And we were out drinking, and I just stepped outside with them because they were taking a smoke break. I still don't smoke. And we were just, shooting the shit, talking. It had to have been around like 1 a.m., right? And these guys come out of the bar behind us, and they're talking mad shit about somebody. They are worked up over something in a way that's like, oh, I'm going to beat his ass, that kind of shit. And I hear a clatter to the ground and just that heavy metal sound. Like if you've ever heard somebody drop a gun. Like it was just... And it couldn't have been, if I was looking behind, because you hear a sound like that. I was pretty drunk and I was like, oh, what's that? And it couldn't have been more than, like, it could not have been more than 3 feet away from me. Like, it was like within reaching distance. And me and the guy I was with just looked at the gun, and there was that moment of recognition, because you don't ever expect to just see a fucking gun out in public. This isn't Texas. And so I was just like, oh. And me and the other guy just kind of looked at each other. The guy I was with just kind of looked at each other while he picked up the gun and shit, and they drunkenly walked away, and we were just like, let's get the fuck out of here. It's like, people like that, you do not, no. If you think there is a chance in hell that you would drop a firearm in public, do not bring it. Do not bring it. Like, I would honestly say that, like, you shouldn't even be carrying a loaded weapon. Bring magazines, bring clips. But I genuinely don't think most people should be carrying their weapons loaded in public. Like, it all comes down to, at the end of the day, a lot of it comes down to common sense. If you are going to a pride event, your first concern should be everybody around you and the safety of everybody around you. It should be a time to have a lot of fun. It should be a time to go out and dance and get drunk with friends, safely, of course. Nobody drink and drive. You should have fun. You deserve to have fun. Everybody. Yeah, Kiwi TP, that's actually a really good way to put it. Having fun is your protest. There are so many people right now who will hate you for no reason. If you are queer, if you're just trans, it is so important to keep in mind the intersectionality of our communities and how they overlap. How people of color overlap with the trans community. How trans people of color are often targeted for more violence than white people of color. These things are important to keep in mind, not just to throw out platitudes on social media, not just to retweet and share stuff when it comes across our feed, but so that we can recognize when things happen around us, how we can intervene to help the situation. This is another important thing that I think a lot of people need to realize. In any kind of high intensity or high pressure situation, you're gonna, it's one of those things where you kind of find out who somebody actually is, right? There are people who are not good under pressure. If you know for a fact that you are not good under pressure, then you need to step back, remove yourself from the situation, and find another role. It is important. Another thing that happens, for example, somebody was bringing up filming earlier. Filming is incredibly important. If there is somebody who you think might start an altercation, if there is somebody trying to incite violence, if they have 1 or 2 people already trying to get them out of a venue, trying to shuffle them along, trying to move them away, you don't need to inject yourself into that. Look around. See what other roles need to be filled. Are there multiple people filming them in case anything does go wrong? If not, you better pull out your phone. Did anybody get hurt? Did anybody get punched? Does somebody need water? Does somebody need a bandage? Find where you fit to help people who need it most. And if a role is not a good fit for you, do not. It's not how you're conditioned up. And if you're willing to endure the conditioning. What are y'all talking about? Did I say... I didn't say white people of color. Did I say white people of color? No. Did I? No shot. Thank you, Simric. Thank you for $5. Happy Pride to all my friends. Did I really? No. Taco Face Fart, thank you for $2. That's fucking crazy. Oh, I meant white trans people. Yeah, no, y'all got exactly what I meant. I did say white people of color. White people of color is actually very funny, though. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Saying white person of color is very... That's actually really funny because I actually on a script I was working on today, I wrote, I've been white for a while, most of my life actually, which I wrote it as a joke, but it's just funny that I would like basically kind of make the same joke. Your boy Max, thank you for gifting 5 subbies to Lock Winston, Tiny's playlist, I Hate Burgerica, the Solar Kitsune, and Dr. Koshe. I appreciate you. As a fellow white person of color. But yeah, honestly, my hope is that everybody stays as safe as possible. My hope is that you and nobody you know, and that my hope is that you do not go looking for fights, that you are smart when faced with adversity, that you don't think about your own ego, that you are not goaded into conflict, because you have to consider the safety of everybody around you. The things you do, they don't just reflect on you at Pride. Like, I do not want any of you to be out here saying some shit that gets put on libs of TikTok for the next 6 months. I would simply pass the charisma spell check. Pacifist run. Yeah, there you go. Got to remember that a lot of chuds are cowards first and foremost. See, but don't make the mistake of goading that. Like, do not make the mistake of going into any situation with that in mind. You cannot count on the actions of another person. Like, you, as much as people want to be like, oh, they won't actually do anything, do not fucking count on that. Do not go up to homophobic protesters and start poking at them, thinking like, they're not going to do anything, because guess what? That's how people do shit. Like, do you think they're going to be in a good mood to jest when they're sitting there in 80-degree weather, sweating their asses off, getting yelled at all day by people they think deserve to be shot by the government or whatever? No, they're not. Somehow I don't think they're going to be in a real chill mood. Like again, you cannot... There are so many different factors working upon Pride this year that I feel a lot of people need to consider. And one of them, a major component, is the ideology, the ideological underpinnings of modern conservatism. You have a not insignificant portion of modern conservatives who believe sincerely that there are actual demonic entities working through the LGBTQ movement. The movement. That there are actual, real demons Like they don't believe it as metaphor. They believe as a tangible, literal reality. And while on one hand, it might be fun to point and laugh at that because it is fucking ridiculous. Like go watch my video from last year where I interviewed a bunch of like homophobic hate preachers who came to protest a pride in Idaho. Like on one hand, funny, right? But I'm a trained professional. I can go, well, I'm a professional. I can go talk to them and like kind of make fun of them and they won't know it. And like it's a whole thing. You should not be doing that. And that's not saying like, oh, nobody can do what I do. That is saying that like, if you are not prepared for any eventuality that might happen, if you do not have backup plans for your backup plans, do not count on anything. I wanted to go back to the idea of if you know that you are not good under pressure. Somebody was talking earlier about how like it's a little bit reductive because you need conditioning for those roles. And that's true. Like I fully agree with that. But a high pressure situation is not the time to get that conditioning. It's just not. So again, I want everybody to go to Pride. I want you to have fun. But if you do, you need to go in groups. You need to stay in contact. You need to have somebody in your group. If you're going in a group of 3 or more, you should have one person who has at least a basic medical kit, water, and granola bars, and sunscreen. Do not forget sunscreen. Those are the big things. Medical kit, water, granola bars, sunscreen. And you need to put that in a bag and make sure you have access to it at all time before anybody says any shit about, oh, I'm bringing steel-toed boots. Oh, I'm bringing a switchblade. Oh, I'm bringing, like, all that shit, put it in the bag. You need to make sure that you have a way to contact event organizers if anything happens. And you need to keep your head on a swivel to keep an eye out for anything genuinely suspicious. This is where the ideas of see something, say something come into effect. It is not about being irrational. It is not about being afraid. Because we shouldn't be. When we have each other's backs, we don't need to be afraid. But to get to that point, we do need to be prepared. To that end, I hope you all stay prepared, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time at Pride this year. Oh my gosh, Punk Metal Tao, thank you for $5 as a manager. It breaks my heart that my non-binary associate wants me to refer them as female for their safety in 2025. That kind of pisses me off, not going to lie. Old Sickback, thank you for tier 1. Why a granola bar? Food. I mean, it could be like cookies, fruit snacks. You just like, here's the thing, N95 respirator, if you can afford one, if you are going to be in densely packed areas. So like, here's the thing, in Spokane's Pride, I'm probably okay not to mask. It is incredibly open air. There are a lot of like incredibly open air, spread out. I can just not be around people at Spokane Pride. A lot of other Pride events, Dead Domain, it really sounds like if you have any fear, then don't go. That's how it's coming across. That's not what I mean at all. I'm saying if you have any fear, then do not put yourself on any defensive front line. Do not try and prioritize yourself or insert yourself into any situation. Because there are going to be people who are already doing that. And the only thing that can happen, if you are not experienced, if you do not have that gumption, that fortitude, whatever you want to call it, that conditioning, you are just going to complicate a situation by inserting yourself into it. But I still think everybody should go. Do not, like, I think it is more fearful to stay home. It sounds like all Pride is a battlefield. No. You are more likely. Here's the reason I'm talking about sunscreen, water bottles, granola bars. Not because it's a battlefield. It's because you're more likely to come across somebody who sprains their ankle than any actual violent incident. You're more likely to come across somebody who has heat stroke, who might be getting faint because they haven't eaten all day. Like, these are the other aspects of this kind of festival celebration that a lot of people are forgetting, is that like Pride here, an outdoor Pride celebration, an all-day event, you're talking about 7-8 hours maybe of walking around in the sun around a ton of other people. Like, I have a speech at Pride this year. I'm going to be there from the parade all the way through the ending of the speech, and I'm the last one on stage. Like, I close out a speaking section. So that's my entire fucking day, right? Another thing, so here's another thing to consider that I did not talk about, and this is entirely different from first off, I'll read this. Ayo, thank you for 8 months. I'm still entertained that as a cis straight guy, I stumbled into a Pride event because friends said this one artist I like was performing. Ooh, hell yeah. So, yeah, Arizona, oh my God. Fojack Horseman, oh my God. Arizona, I can't even fucking imagine. Naomi Faithless, I don't have a choice but to go to Pride by myself. Find people to, even if you don't have people to go with, find people there. Find people there to talk to. Say hi to folks. Ask if you can hang out with them. Swamp Frog person, I just don't appear at our events because I don't want to be blasted on my town news. I like to control who I'm out to. You don't have to be queer to go to Pride. You can just be an ally. You just say you have friends there. One thing I did want to talk about, by the way, I want to talk about before we move on at Pride. Simric saying if you're in San Antonio, they'll go with you. Outfits and dressing in Pride. You make it sound so easy. Sorry, we can't all be charismatic. Some of us are just hated by default. I mean, with that attitude, do you think I was always charismatic? Do you think I was always likable? No. I'm still not. There's tons of people who hate me. What was I saying? Outfits. Let's talk kink at Pride. Okay? Now, this is the conversation nobody wants to have, but we're going to have it anyway because we don't shy away. This is not an echo chamber. We don't shy away like a weak ass cuck liberal from kink at Pride discourse. My read on it, a lot of Pride events have designated 18 and over areas, sections. There are some wonderful, oh God, I'm looking forward to it because there's some great booths from local adult stores, not like skeevy ones, like actually good ones that are always at Pride. And I love supporting local businesses like that. That being said, those are usually kind of quarantined away from where the rest of everybody is going to be. Now, I do not like yucking anybody's yum. I want to say that up front. That being said, I feel it is a mostly pretty well accepted, even amongst queer people, there should be no explicit nudity in a place where children might see it. And mind you, I'm not saying kink gear, because those are not the same things. Like, somebody wearing a pup mask might be odd to explain to a child, but it's not nudity. You can easily say that's dress up. You can easily say, oh, there's furries, and you'll learn about them when you get older. Like, pup masks, don't care. Most leather gear, I don't care. Like, you can just chalk it up. If you can easily explain it to a child, I don't really care about it. There should be no explicit nudity, and that includes butt cheeks. All right? There's going to be a lot of people who want to wear chaps out. Don't do it during the day celebration. If you are going to Pride, here's the other fucking thing. If you're going to a Pride celebration, I guarantee that night there's going to be a dance party. I know for a fact there are going to be multiple bars where it'll be much more acceptable, where it will be actually appropriate to the venue and the other people around you. You do not need to. Kink is dress up and sandbox play for adults anyway. Yeah, kind of. Just say pup masks or furries. Yeah, like who the thing that people get so worked up over with like pup masks and stuff. There's that one infamous photo that goes around all the time of like two pups getting walked, I guess, by their master, and like a little kid is kind of petting one of the puppies, and people are like, oh, look at how sick and degenerate. It's like, no, the kid probably just thinks it's a funny game, which it kind of is. Like, to those people, there's nothing inherently sexual about it. Like, how people choose to engage with their escapism doesn't necessarily mean it's sexual. And in fact, sexualizing it is the fucking weird part. Yeah, like, okay, Critical Ox, a circle jerk in the middle of the street during the Pride party? No. Like, that kind of shit is unacceptable. Like, butt cheeks are just acceptable as a bikini. I don't think a bikini is acceptable, honestly. If you are, again, you need to consider more than yourself. You need to consider the optics of something, because there are appropriate times and places. And again, this is not to yuck anybody's yum. But if you decide to go out just fully cheeked up, just with a string bikini, bulge hanging out, I do not judge you for this. But if you are dressed down to the point where you almost have like hole visible, and you are in a public space where there are going to be children walking close to you, where you're going to be waiting in line for food, and families are going to be in the same line, it is inappropriate, and it does nothing to benefit you or anyone around you. If you want to dress sexy, again, there are places and times for that. And this is kink is an integral part of Pride. It has always been a massive part of the queer and LGBTQ plus community. It is important not to forget that. But kink is also not for everyone. So if you want to celebrate kink, you need to do it in a way that is acceptable. You need to cover up just a little bit more. You do not engage, by the way, in any kind of like kink play in a place that is going to make other people uncomfortable. This is an important thing I don't think a lot of people get. Because, yeah, astromorph, basic rules of consent. I don't think a lot of people understand that if you engage, by the way, say you start spanking a partner or something in public. They have a humiliation kink or something. You are not respecting the consent of everybody around you. If you are in a Pride event and it is not specifically sexual. It is not specifically kink-oriented. You are, in fact, violating the consent of people who did not sign up and did not agree to either be exposed to that themselves and may be uncomfortable, or more embarrassingly for the community, exposing minors to that. These are things you need to think through. Like this is not the same as something like Folsom, right? Where, for those who don't know, Folsom Street Fair is a MK Naomi, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Eth4no2, thank you for following. This is not Folsom, right? Where Folsom is, for those who don't know, it is a nude street fair in, I believe, San Francisco. That is very sexual. A lot of people go there for public play and public kink. But it is a explicitly adults only event. It is shut down to the public. You have to be, oh, that's my video. Hey. You awesome Stella, you sent me my video. Perfect example of pup mascot pride. Play it. I forget. There was a pup mascot pride. I forgot.
And almost 1 year ago to this day, I started the investigative project that put my channel on the map and allowed me to make videos full time.
Yeah, no, there was a pup hood.
Some of you may already know this story. Last year, I heard about a hate church here in Spokane.
But like down here in the corner. If you haven't watched my good Protestant Christian girl. Yeah. I gotta say, as a Bay Area baby, please don't wear your gear uncovered on BART. Their family's going to the grocery store on public transit. It's just, Yeah, also, I, like, straight up, I could not fucking imagine doing pup play. Like, for me, it's more of a thing, not that I really do it, but, like, for me, it's more of a thing of, like, I cannot fucking imagine in that heat anything else. That would, terrible. So yeah, butt should be mandatory. Nope, straight to jail. Right to jail. It's so, again, there are places to go. If you want that kind of stuff, if you want that treatment, there are places to go. But time and place are incredibly important. Straight to cheek jail. Vitamin Fuse, thank you for following. I'm going to run to the restroom really quick, and then we're going to get started because apparently the big pride events in Houston are agonizingly corporate now. Yeah. Oh, Blair is desperate for content. God, she looks so fake. Don't think I didn't notice all the fucking makeup filters you put on this girl, and then you had to, like, get your kid, Elon, talk shit about me. Here's my response. Oh, bitch, you think you're so fucking... Blech. All right, we'll be right back. I will be... She does look like a Kardashian. Ugh. Okay, I'll be right back. Woof, woof. That was my bad. Come here. Come get pet. I love you. I love you, dog. I can't. See, I can't talk that way around my dog because she talks back. You see? Do y'all hear this shit I'm doing? Am I a furry? No, I am not a furry. This is just the hell I live with, by the way. What that dog doing? What that dog doing? Hello, what that dog doing? Do you want to come up on my lap? You're so big. Come on up. Could you come up on my lap? Oh. Yeah, you're so ferocious. You're so ferocious. Do you want to say hi to the chat? Do you want to say hi to the chat? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. She say hi, chat. Say hi. Say hi to the chat. Hello. Hello. Yeah. I love you. I love you. Yes, I do. What? I cannot dance with you right now. I have to do work. Yes, I know. I know. Oh, yeah. You want to play so bad. I know, baby. Is Lady a furry? No, she's fuzzy. She's not really furry. Love you. Are you my cute little hellhound? Yeah, are you my little hellhound? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I love you. I love you. I love you. Yes, I do. Alrighty. Do you need more food? Is that what you're telling me? She looked at me like... Alright, I'm gonna go give her a little bit more food. Well, this guy should be good. There you go. Knock yourself out. Shush. Shushka babushka. Okay. I know. I'm sorry, everybody. She's so loud. No stream tonight. For Reg, thank you for $2. Pride Fest is just job fairs with drag queens. For those who don't know, if you want to donate, by the way, to help out with bills and stuff, because I recently had like a spate of shit drain my account. I just had to get more food for Miss that I have to order off a fucking prescription. I have electrolysis tomorrow that I have to Uber to and from, and that's like $40. If you would like to help out with any bills, any current cost of living expenses, the link down below, the Ko-Fi link, goes directly into my account, and I greatly appreciate any help, and it also gives a much better rate of the money I actually get than YouTube or Twitter donations, but everything is appreciated. If you have a couple bucks, I would appreciate it for Pride. Just saying. Much on point, very Vogue. She is very, she just plops down. She's like, okay, I'm done. What a little ham hock. I love her. Does she not call... What does she call Vivian? I guess we'll find out. Good God. Oh, no, Samrick, you're totally fine. It's like little dollar amounts I totally appreciate. I think Ko-Fi is supposed to be pronounced coffee, but I've... Well, like you're tipping a barista. Yeah. Somebody's saying Electro is expensive as fuck. I am blessed to have the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people at Spokane Electrolysis, who I can literally not say enough good things about. If you need electrolysis in Spokane, it is a wonderful queer-owned family business that is, I cannot say enough good things about them. Have a good night, Johnny Viral, and thank you for the chat ads as always. All right, let's watch. Thank you, Moth, for $5. Blair is transitioning to Laura Loomer gender. Oh God, I wonder what they would look like. Like if you mashed them together.
Why do you think someone like Blair White is so desperate? Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm 2 seconds in. That's beautiful. That's that is good shit. Yeah, Matt Bernstein asking Viv, I think when Viv was in New York, she had a podcast with him, and the look on Blair's face, pictures thousands of words, tale as old as time. You love to see it. I'm gonna rewind that, because that is a hell of a dunk on yourself to open with. That's great.
She makes a ton of money.
Did the child of the richest person?
Yeah, she doesn't consort with him anymore. Like, oh great, this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be a double, like a ton of false equivalency. Like, did this person who she does this, so she can't criticize this? And it's like, well, no, that's not how it works, bucko. All right, let's go. Can I not go? No, it is. All right,
why do you think someone like Blair White is so desperate? Yeah.
She makes a ton of money.
Did the child of the richest person on the planet just criticize me for making YouTube videos to make money? That's actually shocking. That's shocking.
Is it? I always forget. Yeah, she is not connected to his money at all. Like, at all. Like, what are you talking about? It is, I honestly forget how fucking annoying and catty she is. And it makes sense. Whenever you criticize Blair White, inevitably you get an army of like 30-something former twinks in your mentions who just live their Regina George high school mean girl fantasies through her vicariously, and they've just like latched onto her as part of their weird identity. And that is, I forget how catty and annoying she is, if I'm being honest. And she's just, I'll say, yeah, we love Matt.
Wait.
Okay, it is time to address the rumors. The rumors are true. You guys have been catching on. You've been noticing little things. You know, it started with my picture with the Cybertruck, and then just you guys kind of commenting, Blair, are you gaining a little bit of weight? Or even just nice things. Blair, you're glowing. Thank you, by the way. And all of it is true. I am pregnant with Elon Musk's baby. I am his 13th side chick, and okay, I'm not pregnant with his baby. However,
yeah, no
I am
shit.
going to have to mother one of his children today, Vivian Musk.
Makes a comment insinuating Vivian isn't woman. It would be rich if she fucking did. It would be. I would be fascinated to fucking see it. Honey, you haven't mothered a day in your fucking life. Are you out of your goddamn mind?
And respond to some talking, which I feel like I keep wanting to do other types of videos. I feel like every week I'm coming up here and I'm just like defending myself against what some other public trans person had said.
Bitch, you control the videos we make. What? What are you talking about? Like, oh, I feel like I'm just a little poor little me. Like, I wish I could stop doing all this, but people kept saying bad things about me. But it's like, you control the buttons you press, homie. Like, what?
Yeah, Dylan Mulvaney. What's that big one's name? The Man? Lily Tino. And now we have Vivian Musk.
What a
and
fucking
I wasn't going to
cunt.
respond because I thought Vivian was actually a minor. Because everyone refers to this person as his transgender daughter, his transgender child. But the word child, this is a 21-year-old, right? This is a grown adult. And
no, they're using, I understand words might be hard for you to comprehend. All that plastic surgery probably suffocating your brain a little bit, but here the word child is referring to as in somehow spawned from Elon Musk in ways that are probably eldritch and best left out of human consciousness, but still applies. It's not because she's a minor, it's because in the context that it's used, it's Elon Musk's spawn, right? Microplastics are girl, the microplastics, nothing. Look at this. There are macroplastics in Blair White.
And again, someone with a lot of power. So I said I don't feel bad actually. I'm gonna go in on this bit. So if you don't happen to know, Elon Musk does in fact have
a cat on YouTube. Thank you for $2. First off, what are you doing on YouTube? You don't have thumbs unless you're one of those polydactyl kitties. Second off, asking what is it with these people and Lily Tina? She doesn't pass to their weird specifications, so they disrespect her. She also slightly cringe from what and granted, I say that as somebody who only has a very cursory knowledge of the stuff I've seen from her. But I think that's probably it. It's kind of the same with like Dylan, is that they are so authentic is probably a better way to put it, but they are very much themselves and don't feel the need to be inhibited or slather themselves in irony like Blair White does. So that, like, sincerity opens you up to a lot of criticism online, and even more so if you're a queer or trans person. Like, that is the first thing they will try and attack.
A transgender daughter who has been at the center of a lot of really, in my opinion, ugly headlines, and I've had some empathy for this person, to be honest. I know people think I'm not capable of that, but hello. And I actually have not been a fan of.
Here are we gonna. Do you wanna prove that you have empathy, Blair? What do you? Oh, okay.
How Elon Musk has talked about
pooping. What's? What? Oh, Caitlin. Okay. I see what's happening.
Vivian, I think that it's one thing, like, Elon Musk does not have to agree with Vivian being trans or trans at all. He could hate trans. To say things publicly like they've died in your eyes and shit like that, like, I find that really trashy. I find that
really trashy. I think it's fucked up, apparently, how Elon has enacted this entire operation against trans people at every level, is encouraging legislation against trans people at every level, but I'm still going to ultimately throw out faint condemnation of that while overall supporting the conservative ideological project, because I'm Blair White and I have no sense of self-worth or recognition. The fuck? How can you sit here and be like, well, I think that's kind of wrong, and I do. Like, bitch, no, you don't. Why haven't you been talking about it then? If you think it's so wrong, you think it's so trashy, why have you been throwing your ideological support behind anything conservative? If this is an effort for you to disprove what you showed Viv saying at the beginning, that you do all this shit for money, you're starting off on the wrong fucking foot.
really bad parenting. And like, I don't know, as someone who comes from some like pretty bad parenting, I'm just a little bit sensitive to like, why are you talking about your child being
No shit.
dead when they're alive and breathing? And so the point is, I swear to God, had Vivian on sort of like a do not attack list in my mind. I've never even said this person's name before because I have felt bad. But if you're going to address me, you know, that's a different ballgame. We can crash out together. Let's go.
The way she acts like she's hood bugs the fuck out of me. Like, it really, really does. The way she wants to be like, well, if you can come after me, then let's go. Honey, you would get the brakes beaten off you for the shit you say if you said it to people's faces and not behind a camera. Like, you have no business acting as cunty as you try to act. Ugh. This is the shit I was saying. She's so annoying to me.
Of A Bit Fruity. If I did not give some lashings to conservative LGBT people.
Oh God, let's go at it.
I love those two. Lady Tamina, thank you for 12 months. Dang, didn't realize it's been this long. Yeah, holy shit.
The first episode I ever did of this podcast was actually about...
talking?
She does. Swamp Frog Person. She kind of speaks like she's in a Drag Race pre-lip sync confessional. She speaks like Blair has the affectation of a Drag Race girly who gets cut in like the first 2 episodes for like having totally trash drag, and it's just like too haughty and high on her horse for what she achieves.
You're about to find out.
I wonder who. It's so funny because I really am the Voldemort of the trans community, that they love to play this game like, are we going to say her name? Are we going to say her name? How many LGBT conservatives could you be talking about? There are a few, but even less worth talking about. They know that. I know that. Wild guess. You're going to say Blair White.
You gave some very, I think, well-deserved lashings to trans conservative YouTuber Blair White.
First of all, the repeated lashing. What kind of slave owner? Who are you? Are you master? What's going on? You could never lash me. Not looking like that. That's...
Honey. Not looking like that? She is literally like... I have to look for Blair White Classic. Blair White Original. No. Oh my God, Blair. Oh, that's still on mine. No, she is low key, like... Like, here to this? Somebody was saying Kardashian? Like, she's... Can I say it's kind of... It's giving blackface? Can I say it's giving, like, a little bit of Candace Owens? B. Parker, as a white person of color. Yeah, that's... Like, you don't... Native American face, yeah. Elevation, thank you for following and subbing with Prime. It is... Like, whatever. If that's how you want to be, that's fine. You don't get to insult somebody else's looks when you have to put that much effort and work into yours and you still look tacky as hell.
for certain. And for second, even Vivian didn't lash me here because I'm looking at my tweet having 30K and hers having 10. So
oh my
you
God.
couldn't even ratio.
Is she really? She's really talking about ratio. I don't even think this is retweets. This is kind of sad, dude. Yeah, she's on Threads, isn't she?
Me as the child of the most, important, most famous man basically on the planet right now. So who got lashed?
This is pathetic. Like, this is just her getting mad, but then being like, who's actually more important when you think about it? Like, this is her, she's corn cobbing is what she's doing. That's exactly, don't tell them I was angry. I didn't get angry.
Sis, who got lashed? Knock off James Charles. Who?
Why do you think someone like Blair White is
calling Viv a knockoff James Charles? Oh, no, calling Matt knockoff James Charles. I think. Either way, none of them really fit.
so desperate?
Blair is a good person who tells the truth and is hated by the left because their beliefs are different from hers. Harshly critical. I'm going to be harshly critical for a moment. Wrong version of there, and beliefs, not believes. I am not surprised you're a Blair White fan.
Yeah.
She makes a fuck ton of money in
Yeah.
sponsors.
Did the child of the richest person on the planet
Yeah, we opened up with this clip, Blair. It has nothing to do with your actual point, so.
just criticize me for making YouTube videos to make money? Okay.
Myena VT, as a melanated individual, she's giving Rachel Dolezal. She absolutely is. Let me see. The probably the most prominent girl. She has the same skin tone as Rachel Dolezal. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that shit. In good lighting. Dude. That's fucking crazy. Blair. That's like I'm not wrong, right? Like that's dead on. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, keep
That's
talking about
actually
other people's
shocking.
looks, Blair.
That's shocking. First of all, it's a false premise to even act like the pursuit of money is something inherently wrong. Like, sorry.
It's a false premise to act like... Okay, so if it's a false premise to act like money is inherently wrong, why would you bring it up? Why would you bring up Vivian's dad having a lot of money? Vivian's dad, by the way, who she's completely unrelated to. Not unrelated, literally, but like doesn't engage with, doesn't get money from in any way. So why would you bring that up if it's not so bad? Second off, they're very clearly talking about how you lack principles in exchange for money. Kind of like we talked about earlier, where you'll just like vaguely criticize Elon, but then ultimately continue supporting the authoritarian project of conservatism because it's how you pay your bills. You disingenuous bitch.
I have to survive. Sorry, I'm not a Nepo baby.
I'm not, neither is she. She lives off like stuff from her mom and now her own jobs and stuff that she gets. Like, I'm not a Nepo baby? What the fuck are you talking about? You're a
Vivian
pick-me.
Musk. Sorry,
Arguably worse.
I actually never received $1 from either of my parents. But speaking of money, this video is sponsored. One moment. Have you ever caught yourself mindless?
You would know about being mindless.
It really has to be one or the other there, right? It really has to be I'm doing it for money, which would make it fake, or I really do believe. And that's what they really have to grapple with, is they know I'm a real bitch. Every person that is in the...
Again, you can't... This is Blair White right here. I need to stress this to people. I understand we're talking about the weird kind of pseudo blackface she's got going on, but when Blair White is saying, like, people know I'm a real bitch, I feel we need to take a skip down the lane here to go from the original Blair, vanilla flavor, to now her matching Rachel Dolezal skin tone. Like, honey, I don't know how much of your face is actually real, legitimately anymore. You don't get to say that you're a real bitch. Like, you might be a real bitch. Nobody's gonna disagree with you on that. But as far as being a real one, nah. Like, how much of your original bone structure is left, honey?
The trans community that wants to use words like a grifter or say that I'm being fake or doing something for money, they do know, and you just saw it pop out, that I am the realest bitch in the community. Whether I'm right or wrong, I could be literally factually wrong about everything I believe. That wouldn't make a single bone in this slightly plastic body fake.
It does. What? That's incredible. I could be wrong about everything, but at least I say it. What? It does. That's incredible. What do you think you're saying, Blair? I need to go back and listen to that again.
It really has to be, I'm doing it for money, which would make it fake, or I really do believe. And that's what they really have to grapple with, is they know I'm a real bitch. Every person that is in the trans community that wants to use words like a grifter or say that I'm being fake or doing something for money, they do know, and you just saw it pop out, that I am the realest bitch in the community. Whether I'm right or wrong, I could be literally factually wrong about everything I believe. That wouldn't make a single bone in this slightly plastic body fake.
Everything about you is fake.
My views, my personality, the shit that comes out of my mouth that I cannot control, that's just a blessing by God. That was instilled at birth. You know, I wouldn't criticize this about you if you weren't, you know, being so retarded, but unlike you,
Whoa.
I'm not up on YouTube as a platform. I don't have a public voice because of who my dad is.
Well, you see, actually, she doesn't have a public voice because of who her dad is, because she's distanced herself from him. You see, she is now doing it on her own merits. You idiot. Also, bold fucking words for somebody who is literally only prominent because you're a pick-me, Blair. If you were just a regular old white woman, nobody would give a shit about you. People would have stopped caring about you 5 years ago. If you were just a regular old white man, you would not cut it in the conservative movement. But because you are the token Tiesler, they keep you around because you are a useful dancing monkey to them. You legitimize their arguments, the arguments of people like Elon. You help to rationalize the horrible shit they say and spread. And you do it while raking in the ducats. And then you're so fucking thin-skinned over that shit, you have to be like, well, at least I'm a real bitch. No, you're not. God.
I don't have people interviewing me or the ability to use my voice to put my opinions into the world because of who my parents are. I actually did that 110% by myself.
No, you didn't.
Just like I'm sure the money in your bank.
Here's the thing. I love how she's just purely, like, her entire argument and comeback is just speculation because she has nothing else. She has to speculate on, like, the money in Viv's bank account. Like, you can't base what you're saying on some more tangible facts. Again, you might want to say you're self-made, but there's nothing about you that is self-made, Blair. You are not just yourself. I know you've probably ratcheted on to this idea of American individualism where, everything you've done has been... No. You are just as much a part of everybody else's lives as they have impressed upon yours. And that includes every right-wing grifter who has platformed you, every fucking Alex Jones knockoff who took a photo of you. Like... You have been a useful cog in their machine. You are right there with, like, Ollie fucking London. Incredible to be like, yeah, no, I'm completely self-made. It's like, honey, you're not self-made in any definition of the term. You've been propped up by other people your entire career. You are also literally not self-made. It's mostly surgeons at this point.
Bank account is definitely not 100% yours, right? The fact that you're even being interviewed right now and famous and on a platform, it actually has nothing to do with you. So that would be the difference between you and I. And
that's not the difference. That's not it. Nope. Again, she's not actually attacking Viv's argument. She's just saying, like, oh, you were born rich. Like, that's basically all she said so far. Incredible.
There is a part of me, if I'm real right now, that wants to not be so harsh on Vivian because you're young.
Oh,
and that's not to be demeaning. You're objectively a young person. You're 21.
Literally demeaning,
but,
though, you stupid bitch.
Now that I'm saying it out loud, being young is not actually an excuse for being retarded.
Do you think... Oh, God, I always forget watching Blair stuff that she does not think before she speaks. Like, she goes into these videos that get hundreds of thousands of views without even thinking about what she's going to say first. She's like, well, actually, now that I've thought about it for another half second, I'm going to go back on what I just said. Like, what?
When I was 21, that was actually the start of my channel. That was, like, when I started. And... I know that I probably was definitely not as elevated intellectually back then. You can watch my first few videos, but I was not as stuck on stupid as this. Your IQ versus my doorknob. Guess who's winning? Guess who's winning?
But, like, I mean, I know there are a bunch of, like, hosts of, like, Fox News that are, like, apparently
Your IQ.
Allegedly.
The reason why leftists are constantly accusing other people of being grifters and not believing what they truly believe is because they don't. They're projecting. And also...
They're projecting. Yeah, the trans girl who's abandoning her billionaire father is the real grifter. Haha. Not me who does speaking fees and shit. Not me, person propped up by the conservative media establishment. It's like palling around with Charlie Kirk and shit. No, they're the real projectors. Okay.
So it's so crazy because if I just used y'all's retarded lingo back on you and started just calling you things like transphobic, maybe that's the move. Maybe that's what I should do because I actually find it extremely transphobic to reduce the intellectual capacity of anyone in the trans community to, like, if they're not liberal, they must be lying because no one could actually... A bold move. Right after reducing Vivian's IQ to her doorknob, she's like, well, actually, I find it very transphobic to reduce anybody in the trans community to not being a liberal because that's literally less than a fucking minute ago. That's what you said. Oh my God, you are so stupid. stray from that group think, that sheep think that we all have.
That
like,
sheep thing.
Y'all think so small of trans people that
y'all think so. She's just so. Some people have a way with words, and some people are Blair White.
Can't be that they have any sort of intellectual capacity to disagree with me. Like, how could a trans person have any capability to not just like parrot and repeat the same things we say all the time? Some of us do. Some of us do. And again,
there's a, when I was doing my video on the history of anti-Semitism, I ran the script by several Jewish people, both in my community and out of my community, who are more experienced in things like the Torah and things like Jewish history than I obviously was. And one of the things that almost every Jewish person told me when I was like, you know, I want to make sure I get this right. I want to run this by you, and I'm running it by a couple other people. One of the things they all, like every Jewish person told me, was about this saying in the Jewish community that if you get 3 Jews together, you'll have 3 different opinions on Jews. Because it's this, like every different person has their own internalized version and ideal of what Judaism is and what it means. And that's something I think about a lot in terms of like groupthink, and how, as I was studying anti-Semitism and its history and the historical precedent behind it, one of the things that so many anti-Semites don't take into account is how different all Jewish people are, how differently they see the world. Montana Schmidtbauer, thank you for $10. So glad you're live. I'm the exact high. I want to be cozy with the game and was worried I'd have nothing as background noise. Oh, thank you. And I thought it was 4. It might be. I might have been misremembering it, but it was basically the same. Heard 3 Jews, 4 opinions. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah. 2 Jews, 3 opinions. Do you see? Do you see what I'm? Do you see what I mean? I have people in the chat being like, "No, actually, it's 2 Jews, 4 opinions. No, actually, it's 3 Jews, 5 opinions." It's like my NVT. I've heard that one too, except the one I heard was 9 rabbis, 10 opinions. Do you see? Do you see exactly what I'm talking about? It's a great bit, everyone. Thank you for helping out. But it got me constantly thinking about how these opinions are in a hive mind, right? And so it is always just that much more funny. That's kind of what I think about when I hear people like Blair being like, oh, well, we just don't go along with the accepted narrative. And I'm just like, bitch, what accepted narrative? Like, Brianna Wu does the same thing too, where it's like, you only think there's this one sacrosanct version of being trans because you're not in the community, bitch. You are out in the fucking parking lot while everybody else is inside the stadium, right? Nobody wants to include you. That's why you just see everybody else as one solid group, because you've been left out of it. But even within that group, there are so many differing opinions and different values and different places people are coming from. You just don't know about it because nobody likes your ass. Oh my gosh, Queer Molly, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for donating $40 to the Ko-Fi.
You're young, and so maybe you'll get there. It's also just lazy, because by making the conversation about like, well,
not Blair White, somebody who obviously didn't even prepare for the video she's reacting to, calling somebody else lazy. Okay.
She even believe what she really believes? You know, there's Republicans who don't really believe that, blah, blah, blah. What you're doing is you're trying to find an excuse to not actually combat what I have to say. You're not going to mention what I have to say or my actual worldview, because then you have to debate it, and you can't because you're wrong. I actually believe everything I say, so.
Do we think that, like, what do you want to debate, Blair? What do you want to debate? Because I cannot think of a single thing you've talked about where the actual facts are on your side. Not that I tune into you a lot, because you're fucking annoying.
If we could ever just get past that and start addressing the things I say, that would be probably ideal. And an actual way to defeat me, rather than for the rest of time just flop around like a dead fish.
She really thinks so highly of herself. 10 minutes in, she said a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, she really... No, oh, God, we are 10 minutes in. Fuck, man. No, she really thinks incredibly highly of herself. For no real reason I've ever seen. Like, Blair, you're known for a lot of things. Academic or intellectual rigor is not one of them. Like, I don't know how to fucking break it to you, honey. Nobody's going to your channel to feel smart, to be informed. Like, your audience that you've cultivated, like I was talking about, are a bunch of wannabe Regina George contrarian mean girls who live vicariously through you being a sassy caricature. That's your legacy. That is what you do. That is what people know you for. Like, you do not have the clout to be doing all this. You're doing too much. Doing too much.
Repeating the same shit people have been saying to and about me on the internet for the past decade. I mean, this is just verbatim. This video has been made about me 100 times. The script has been the same.
It is not a video about you, by the way. It should be noted that this is just a section of a video that was not about her. I don't believe, unless Matt doesn't seem like the type to like do clips like that. Great screenshot. But Blair, do you ever think about why that might be? Do you ever think about why people might constantly be criticizing you? See, she would say, well, it's because I go against the narrative. I go against the established transgender line of thinking because I'm such a different outsider. It's like, no, it's because you're fucking wrong a lot of the time. The one video I reacted to of yours, you just fucking lied and left it in the video. You just lied and showed video footage completely contradicting the narratives you were trying to spin. Like, you're just a fucking liar, dude. Everybody knows it. These are the type of things why people don't take you seriously, Blair.
Every time. It's just like, it's weird, but that's that group thing. That's that like drone, NPC,
what I tell you,
collective
what I tell you,
thing that they have going on.
What I tell you,
individualism. It's like no new things to say, just the same shit that other retards,
that other arslers just know nothing. Incredible that she again wants to talk about how people won't attack. They won't actually counteract what I'm saying. They won't actually address my opinions because they can't. But then Blair just does the, again, exact same thing. She's just fucking vague posting about, there's just NPC. It's just all groupthink. It's like, honey, you basically get your thoughts delivered to you. Like, you fall in the, what is one fucking thing you fall outside of the conservative line on? I guess I don't really know. I don't watch. Yeah, no. She really loves the arsler. She really loves talking like a fucking 12-year-old boy. Really does like that, doesn't she?
Were saying about me in like 2016.
Whether or not you go home and you're like, I'm actually nice behind the scenes, it's like, doesn't matter because you're not nice in front of the scenes.
Yeah. Y'all also live in a Disney movie. It's about nice people and bad people, mean people versus good people, and you guys are the nice people. When you start,
This is fucking embarrassing, dude. Like I realize it's a Blair White video, I know. But this is just her whinging and whining about the fact that people like this I think we are going to get away from Vivian a little bit into just bitching about the fact that people don't like her. But apparently other people live in a Disney movie. But she, by nature of like people disagreeing with her, and she flatly puts everybody into two camps, either the free thinkers or the NPCs, is like she doesn't live in a very cartoonish dichotomy of reality. She doesn't live in just a complete black and white space. Like, come on.
Start out a fucking video talking about who are we going to give lashings to today. See, at least I don't fake it, right? At least I don't pretend to be the nicest person. I know I'm quite a bit a bitch. I am quite a bit a bitch, right? But when it comes to me, see, I'm a wolf. You see me coming, bitch. I'm not a wolf in sheep's clothing. You see me coming. I don't got to move in silence.
This is so fucking... She is doing like an AAVE thing. She really is. Like, look at the way she moves. Look at the way she, like, acts. She... like, this is... oh, God. She's doing, what I was talking about, Kanye doing in the Kanye video. Where she's Sephiroth posting. Like, this is just embarrassing Sephiroth posting. Like, she just needs, like, an anime, like, VTuber rig.
A bit of bitch, right? But when it comes to me, see, I'm a wolf. You see me coming, bitch. I'm not a wolf in sheep's clothing. You see me coming. I don't gotta move in silence. I really don't. I'll make a whole scene, a whole ruckus. I feel like this is so unserious. This is so unserious. This is so unserious.
This is so unserious, but I'm so badass. I'm a whole bitch. I'll make a whole scene. I'll like, yeah, Blair, we know you'll do anything for attention. Like, yeah. It's not surprising. Yeah, you will make anything about yourself. We know. Like is anybody fucking afraid of Blair White? Like, I'll make a whole... Okay, you're Blair White. Who do you think you are? Everybody... It seems like everybody else kind of knows who she is, but she thinks she is a much more serious and powerful topic of conversation than she actually is. A ruckus.
Like,
oh, my goodness.
Blair White.
I'll make a whole kerfuffle.
I mean, she's not that interesting because, like you said, it's like once you're...
That's funny. Look at her reaction. She's been talking over like a minute of the video. When Matt says she's not that interesting, that's a fucking blow. Watch her actually get mad about that.
Everything they say, they immediately contradict themselves with the other. Like, they're just scared to actually...
Chat, how many times have we already seen Blair say something and then immediately contradict herself, while saying they contradict themselves now? Even though saying she's not interesting, by the way, is not a contradiction. You're not. You are not as interesting or fascinating as you think you are. Like, you're just not, Blair. Like, I know you think you are some bad bitch. You're not. You're fairly transparent. You are. I'm sorry. Like, there's nothing unscrutable about you.
Say something. Blair White, she's so interesting to me. I mean, she's not that interesting to me. I think she really believes what she says she believes. But you know what? I don't think she really says that.
Why didn't you show them saying that?
Y'all are scared to make a stand about anything, even your feelings about someone.
Why didn't you show them saying that if they said that? Or is it just because that's the usual thing you do, is to like angle the narrative in your direction? instead of actually arguing the points. So you can step back and be like, see, they're not arguing the actual points. Well, you're also not doing that. Oh my God.
That you just said you're going to give
this video, by the way,
what was it, lashings to? What did the slave
300,000 views.
Knock off James Charles, lashings.
Once you're making money from that sort of speech, it's like, okay, well, you're just gonna.
She is actually mad. That's kind of funny.
And do it as long as it's making money.
Yeah,
but...
she's gone progressively further right as she's gonna. Also, you Blair White. I want to get that out there.
Yeah,
I have become progressively further right, actually. Yes, because y'all have gotten progressively more retarded. You have pushed me even farther. So congrats on that. But that's not my fault. Also,
my own ideology is not my fault. Me getting more radical and choosing to be more hateful is not my fault. Incredible. Incredible. Yeah, it also seems like the only insult she has is the arsler. Like that's really the only thing she says. Like, are you serious? I know you're not. You're almost 40 or whatever, but like, yeah, she's barely played any of the clips, and she keeps clipping them. Like, I don't know if they're out of order. She is not showing them. She keeps jumping between them. Yeah, William Pounds. I let other people dictate what I believe. Great. She's 31.
It's so interesting. Once you realize something makes you money, you just keep doing it. Yeah, that's called surviving in the world. That's number one. Is this video is monetized, right? Is your video monetized?
Do you think it's an own? Again, saying that you do things like, by the way, Blair, this is a perfect example of how you're a disingenuous shit, is that you're padding the length of this reaction video with no real substance behind it. You put a advertisement, a paid sponsorship in this fucking nothing content. And that is a different piece of content. Again, two ideas. I know they might be hard to hold in your head at the same time. But that is a different piece of content than a interview podcast, which is what Matt does. That is basically all Matt does. See? Like they're not the same, actually. It is not specifically about you.
Or are you Fruit Loop Gandhi over here doing it all for free? Because I actually do remember a time.
Is that homophobia? Is that her being
almost
homophobic?
year of my channel, despite the fact that I was already within the first year getting videos with hundreds of thousands of views, I didn't even think about monetizing it. My first year, pretty much.
You're so gracious.
I had to have. I think the YouTuber was Shoe on Head. Shout out to Shoe. It's been a long time, sis.
Not a great look for Shoe, if I'm being honest. Having Blair White be shout out to Shoe. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, I do want to see that. I just want to go see Viv's response. I don't have threads though, so maybe it won't let me log in. Response video. Oh yeah, I saw this. You can do better than Arsler Nepo. I believe in you, sister. I did see that. You're Blair White, like, girl, come on. Yeah, it's I did see this. Hey lady. Hey. Hey. Yeah, I'm honestly like I knew Viv had kind of like just whatever. I didn't realize how fucking boring it would be. Like, even as I think that's my one Blair White video for the year in honor of Pride. But damn, bitch, like, that is so... I am underwhelmed. Yeah, it's just like a... Oh, hello, dog. Hello, Pooch. Hello, Pooch. You want to say hi to the people again? Is that what you want? I love you. I love you. I love you, my dog. Okay. I wanted to go and watch Tectone. Yeah, it's like, God, she is so lazy in her fucking content. Whatever. This is oh God, this is so long. I did not realize this was so long. Hey yo. All right, let me see if I have shorter stuff too. I wanna look at. Let's keep it to, because I have a couple other things. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff to go over that we can handle later in the week. I've never heard of this YouTuber. Oh, he had a recent beef with Hassan that's been very funny to watch, actually. Some Weird Pufferfish, thank you for subscribing. I did want to watch this really quick, and I think this will be the other video we do before yeah, that's the guy with the rapist dad army officer. But this popped across my feed earlier. The title, it's 6 minutes and 55 seconds, which is how I know it's gonna be terrible. But did I hear about Texas banning LGBT clubs in schools? No. Bans clubs that support gay teens. Parents' Bill of Rights targets LGBTQ plus clubs, DEI programs in schools. Yeah, that's not surprising. Texas sucks. All right. Remnant777 wants to talk about why left-wing art looks so mentally ill. I did not realize mentally ill was a visual style, but I'm very interested to see what it is. Very interested indeed.
Let me ask you, why is it that...
No, Crank Monkey, the actor wasn't killed by cops. Remember when CalArt style was an insult? It still is. Whew. This is... When did this come out? A month ago. A month ago. Isn't all art mentally ill when you think about it? That's true. That's actually true. No, we got rant Sona hours. Yep. Is this Armored Skeptic? No, but I see where the armor you would get the idea. Your desk is terribly organized for your rant zone, I might say. Why do you have books over here when you're sitting right here? Are you going to look around at the books? Are they for the other people across from you to look at? Like, what is going on? Everything is a shambles.
Left-wing art looks, frankly, for lack of a better term,
mentally ill.
It's like these drawings come out of a factory. They all look the same. They all have the exact same themes, the same color designs, the same...
Is he just picking, like, random shit from, like, fucking DeviantArt?
misshapen faces, the uncanny look to it. Why is this? Well, I thought about it for a long time and examined these drawings to...
What? I thought about it for a long time, he says, like a great scholar showing somebody's furry Microsoft Paint art. What? Left-wing art looks so mentally ill. Yeah. This is better than... See, I thought we were going to talk about, like, actual art. Not that these aren't pieces of art by real artists, but I thought we were going to talk about, like, you know, capital A art. Like, here's paintings in galleries. Here's fucking books everybody knows. Here's the mentally ill-looking movies or whatever. He's just bitching about random people on the internet's art. Like, yeah, a lot of it might look the same because a lot of them are still, you know, kind of learning their style, learning how to draw. A lot of people's art looks the same in the beginning before they've cemented their own style, while they're still growing and trying to learn. What do you...
figure out why they have that common style or theme to it, and to figure out what caused...
None of those had the same style. What the fuck are you talking about?
But before we dive in, I want to clarify. I'm not saying all left-wing art is weird or ugly or mentally ill-looking. No. Frankly, the majority of art is dominated by the left. People who...
Why... Where is your consistency here? Like, we got Poppy Playtime, we have random personas. What is...
who are higher in openness and creativity predominantly tend to be more left-wing. But I noticed something. For the mass abundance of left-wing art that looks the same...
These are just TV and art zonas and shit. What? Who gives a shit?
Labeled, frankly. I haven't seen that in the right. I haven't seen this...
My bro. You haven't seen bad drawn art on the right. You cannot have this Sona and talk about how left-wingers can't do art good. Carry on.
A large amount of weird art that's almost childlike looking come from the right. The people I've spoken to who make art in their right wing, it's very polished, it's higher level, or at least...
It's very polished, it's higher level. There's a lot of people also who use AI, and it's funny, I wonder how many people on the left wing that you've spoken to who do art. I feel like you're kind of just picking and choosing random people based on the completely random sample size you've shown so far. But then you pick, oh, look at this Alpha Chad Templar. Okay. Keep
it's not intellectually disabled like this. Which begs the question, why? Well,
look at these. Look at these. I can't. Look at this awesome drawing of a Templar that some friend of mine made. It's not intellectually disabled like this completely random piece of art. It's like, those two things aren't the fucking same. Like, what? What? I feel like I'm getting an aneurysm watching
I
this.
think there are many answers to it. One of them has to do with the fact that whenever you get into art, it's to be expected that you make drawings that look like this. It's pretty common. Most people start off not knowing what they're doing, especially considering if you want to draw something on a higher level, you have to understand that thing you're drawing. You have to understand.
No, that is actually drawn. That's not AI.
And the anatomy. If you want to make a portrait, you have to understand the skull, the muscles, the skin, the eyeballs, the mouth, the nose, the ears, all of the rest. You have to study all of them. That's not even talking about hair and the different hairstyles you can have. So when you're making drawings about people, it's very challenging.
Again, I can't help but notice all of his examples are just like either Chad Templar shit or anime girls.
drawings by default are going to look really bad. But the reason why we see this
that's
abundance
an
of shitty
artistic
art
style.
coming from the left is because they don't have self-awareness. It's tied.
Brother. Bro. No. You cannot. The reason the left is bad at art is because they don't have self-awareness, he says, showing a pencil manga drawing that he did. That he's like, this is better than a random ass fucking...
Shitty art coming from the left is because they don't have self-awareness.
They don't have self-awareness. Look at my middle school drawing. Like, this, by the way, objectively better. Like, this has a better understanding of style, form, function, how it all runs together. How the body is meant to be organized. Just because it's deformed, just because it's stylistic, guess what? It's also fully colored, shaded, has good color theory. Like, I guarantee whoever drew this has more skill than you. Oh my God. Ember86, thank you for tier 1 for 2 months. My lack of self-awareness is why I love furry art so much, Kappa.
It's tied into their philosophy. They don't believe that there's good or bad art. They believe...
Oh my God. Bro is really doing high and low art with his...
There are preferences, but you cannot objectively say one piece of art is good or bad, or one is bad.
This is always funny to me because I can tell when somebody has never actually studied art, never actually taken an art history course, has never actually sat in a college classroom to talk about art, because they just regurgitate these same vague ideas that they get from like talking about and hearing from, like, oh yeah, the left, they don't believe in objectivity in art. This is why they put a banana and tell me does he talk about the banana? Does he talk about the banana?
Better than the other. You can't. It's subjective, meaning they don't have any shame for what they create. They can't look at it and say, this looks like hot garbage. I don't want to show people what I made.
How do you even know these people are from the left? What the fuck are you talking about?
It's not any better or worse than Michelangelo's paintings.
Nobody's saying that. Like, what conclusion is he fucking drawing here? I'm so confused. Like, it's pseudo-intellectual drivel. Because he is just like, well, obviously, if you don't believe in subjectivity, that there can be a objective, correct answer in what's good art or bad art, then you must think that this random deviant art picture from somebody on the left, don't know who it is, don't know who it's ascribed to, never seen this before, you've given us no background on this person or their ideology or anything, but this is just, I see Poppy Playtime, so I'm assuming it's a fan thing, and you're trying to draw the conclusion that it is somehow, that there are people who are going to argue that somebody's fandom deviant art post is equivalent to Michelangelo. There is nobody who's going to make that fucking argument. So why are you making it? Unless it's to completely misconstrue and misrepresent anything you're actually arguing against. Like, what are you talking? I didn't think this would be this fucking brain melting.
Can't say that. You can say he's more skilled, you can say the drawings took more time or they're longer, but you can't say objectively any of those things make his paintings any better. That's the philosophy we're working with, and that kills motivation and growth.
What?
While on the other hand, if you have a right-wing person, someone who says...
Whoa. Do you think that none of the people you've shown are trying to improve as artists? Because, like, dude, I'm pretty sure you could find some pretty fucking good left-leaning artists if you actually looked. If you weren't just obviously skewing this. Picking how your awesome kick-ass Chad artist friends or whoever the fuck, and yourself. Bold, by the way. Bold. I'm... Okay, but Rembrandt could never make Evangelion. You're correct.
There's good art, there's bad art, and it's not simply a subjective.
Oh my god. We're really doing that, huh? We're really doing Picasso as bad art? I think that's Picasso. That looks like Picasso to me.
Reference. He has a larger incentive to grow and develop the skill, and he's not going to show you all the times he messes up or creates hot garbage, because he knows.
He's not going to show you all the times he messes up or makes hot garbage. You say on your, like, manga drawing on pencil, it doesn't look that great. It looks like a middle schooler did it. You say when, like, overwhelmingly more conservatives are getting behind AI art and being like, no, it's totally real. See, you actually, like, you put in the prompt 5 times and then you combine this version with this version. It's actually, it takes a lot of work, you guys. It's totally real art. Dog.
That's trash. He knows it's bad. Period. It's as if I took a selfie every time I took a dump on the toilet. Or I posted all the embarrassing moments in my life. Oh wait, the left also does that too.
Huge tell to have Nick Fuentes on your shit, by the way. And that, the urinal, undefeated. Like, the person who made it could not have possibly envisioned the impact it would have. Here we are, almost 100 years later. Oh, hey, what are we doing? Fountain. Yeah, over 100 years later. 1917. And they are still mad about that shit. Great, love it.
This isn't uncommon to the left at all, so it makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't they post their hot garbage, shamelessly, seeking validation?
What the fuck are you talking about? This is just random furry fan art. How is your brain rot to this degree that you feel the need to, because this happens all the time with these weird, like, chud videos where they just post this shit as if it's common knowledge that, like, oh yeah, no, a left-winger made this. It's like, no, I've never seen this shit in my life. What are you talking about? You have to, that's why your video is 6 minutes long, is because you don't actually explain anything. You're just explaining the conclusions you've drawn, but not how you've drawn them, or why, or how they're related to one another. Like, and the result is that you're just sitting here, like, literally doing the Chad meme, but for art that you obviously know nothing fucking about. Ma, thank you for $5. Imagine someone with a shittier photocopy of Armored Skeptic as your avatar having opinions on art. Ugh.
From other people, which is very funny. They'll post it online, expect validation.
This is good, though. You fucking moron. What? Dude, again, if you're going to critique somebody like this, you better have something better than this. Also, the entire thing that you've said at the beginning, you're like, oh, why does it all look alike? Why does it have the same, like, colors? And why does it have the same forms? And why do they use all the same shapes? Every example you've shown has been stylistically unique. They haven't all been qualitatively the same, but every one you've shown is obviously different from the next. You defeated the point you made in the first couple fucking seconds.
And praise. They'll seek it out, and then they'll get mad at you if you're honest and you say, well, there are some things you could have done better, which is flawed if you're showcasing your art.
Again, let's not provide any, oh my God, let's not provide any examples of what we're saying. We're just going to say shit to and about artists. Those people famously never looking to improve their craft. Yeah. The people, they never know how to take criticism. They never trying to improve.
And you're opening up yourself to positive praise. You should also be opening yourself up to criticism. Otherwise, you become delusional. I'm making this video right now, and there are going to be people in the comments saying, my opinion is trash. I'm wrong.
You just don't understand I don't think anybody's, like, the things you're showing don't seem particularly deep. I'm betting that's by your own design. Is he using AI images? Heresy. Yeah, you're a talentless fuck if you are using AI images, which I'm guessing you're admitting to with this?
Imagine if I posted this video and I said, nobody in the comments is allowed to tell me I'm wrong. I only want praise from my good audience members. That's delusional. That's insane. But that's what they're doing with their art. And I say art in quote.
Who? Again, give me a fucking, like, one example. One example of somebody posting their random furry art, their Breaking Bad furry art, and being like, now you're not allowed to criticize this. Where? You're just saying shit, dude.
Because that's just what we call any drawing people make today. You didn't make a drawing, you didn't make a sketch, you made art in quotations. I mean, one time I was in a chat room, somebody posted their picture, their art, and I pointed out the things that I liked, and then I pointed out the things that they could have done better on. And then everybody attacked me, by the way, they were left-wing, and said that I was...
That's where it comes from. Do you want to bet he was a pedantic little shit? And people were like, hey, don't be a pedantic little shit. That's what, by the way, they were left wing. It's like, what does he define as left wing? You'll notice he keeps just defining people arbitrarily, but no real reasoning. No real, like, even the art he's showing, it's not depicting like, oh, here's a, communist version of a character from Poppy Playtime. Here's my fox waving a pride flag or something. Like, there's nothing that can even really be taken as political. It's just random assortments of characters that it seems like he scrubbed from DeviantArt. What about these are left wing? Christ, man.
Wrong for pointing out what they could have done better, which is delusional. You might as well just tell everybody, hey, only compliment me. Imagine how delusional you would sound if you said that in
my dude, you sound fucking delusional.
Any other context. It also ties into their philosophy about how beauty is subjective. Everybody is beautiful.
Show face, homie. Show face. Beauty is subjective. This Matt Walsh motherfucker.
Everybody is a 10. Everybody is amazing.
Again, they take these ideas to such an extreme that there's nobody on the left who will actually say this. Yeah, beauty is subjective. That's why we have different standards of beauty than we did 100 years ago, than they did 200 years ago. Like, those things change. We have social constructs that change over time, like standards of beauty. That's why different standards of beauty vary between different cultures. And even within those cultures will change. That's why different standards of fashion will change. Because it's not steadfast. It is subjective, you fucking moron. Man.
Unless you disagree with them, then they call you ugly. Beauty is subjective to these people. I made a video talking about how beautiful women are crazy. A lot of the comments simply said beauty is subjective. Which is bullshit. It's demonstrably false, and I can make a video about that in the future. But that does...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, please. Oh, I need to... How many anime girls do we think he puts in a video about how beauty is not subjective? How many anime girls? How many do we think?
And fit their worldview. They try and force this idea that beauty is something that they can equalize. If they simply call people beautiful, it makes them more beautiful or something like that. Beauty is...
I love how he says or something like that, because that's not how it fucking... like that. No, nobody actually believes that. Like, insofar as there is a idea about body positivity as it pertains to the left, which is usually corporate, which means it's malleable. But insofar as there is a genuine push for body positivity, it usually has to do with making people not feel so fucking bad for not falling into a predefined role. Because we have been sold, this is something I'm actually writing a script on. If you're on the Patreon, you know, because I told you about one of the scripts I'm writing is on nostalgia and how we are essentially sold from womb to tomb, cradle to the grave, the ideas that run our society now. We are advertised to such a constant extent that our ideas about culture, about beauty, might not be based in anything except the ideas of being advertised to. And that's something I'm currently writing about. But it's stuff like that is like, yeah, that's where some people are trying to counteract that to have a maybe healthier culture. So we don't have girls who grow up developing eating disorders because they're not rail thin like they see on the cover of magazines. But no, sorry, that's objective beauty. People starving themselves. People developing unhealthy habits. Oh, that's because it's objective beauty. You fucking it's just stuff. He has a woman tier list. Okay, let's go. Let's finish this.
Whatever we call it. And we don't want ugly people to feel bad, right? So let's just lie to them. To these people, they don't believe the things they say. Period. They don't. They view their compliments as an act of charity. I'm being charitable and kind.
Again, I love this thing of because this is the same argument that people give about trans people, where they're like, they don't actually think you're a woman. They don't actually think you're a man. They're just playing nice. And it's like, no, some people are actually just not assholes like you. Some people actually have a little bit of kindness and empathy in their heart. Some people just understand that other people are going to be different. And that's not a reason on its own to hate and dislike somebody or to try and make them feel ostracized or uncomfortable because they don't meet your specific, bizarre, arbitrary definitions of things. Most people just know that people like you are the fucking weird ones.
And encouraging these people to feel good about themselves by calling them beautiful, to feel good about the things that they make. It's not honesty. It's also easier to make art if you're a left-wing person. After all art is on the same level. There's no such...
Jorb, thank you for super chatting $5. Must share this comment I found on the original video. Quote, a lot of left-wing art is hyper-political and usually everything political turns to shit. Great. I love that.
such thing as good or bad art, it's simply preference. Meaning whenever I make my shitty crayon drawings, I can show it to everybody, expect praise, say to myself that it's on the same level as Michelangelo's statues, and now I don't have to work. I don't have to spend those years developing those skills. Put out.
How the fuck are you in a video being like, AI art is actually okay. People are going to be mad at me for you using AI images. And then you're turning around and making up this elaborate fantasy of shit that never happened from random artists that you got their fucking shitty crayon drawings. And you're like, yeah, the left wants you to think that this is actually on the scale of the Pieta. It's like, what? I'll take one person saying this shit. What are you talking about?
Hours and hours into one drawing. I don't have to do any of that, which is pretty insane if you think about it. I would bet that this mentality we have, it breeds mental illness. It breeds delusional people about how they view themselves, about how they view their arts, their work. If you don't see reality for what it is, if you think that these two images are just as beautiful or just as amazing, that's delusional and insane. That's mentally ill. And the left is breeding this. While on the other hand, people who are right-wing, you don't see as much trash from them because they understand when they make trash and they're simply practicing. I'm not making art. I'm practicing my skills so that one day, maybe I might be able to make a mod.
Somebody should definitely show him. Like, this is basically just him getting mad that, like, other people show off works in progress. And he's labeling them all left-wing for some reason. Somebody should show him some of the fucking bizarre, like, anime and furry Nazi shit I've seen on Twitter. Because let me tell you, there's some fucking bad art coming from his side of the tracks.
piece of art. That's how they view it. The left, any little shit they take on the canvas, that's a piece of art right there. That's why there are so many people just like this online. And again, I'm not saying everybody who's a leftist makes horrible looking art that looks mentally ill like this, but I'm saying that's why there are so many people who have this exact same uncanny, weird art style.
They don't have the same style. Again, you have managed to show off completely divergent styles with every piece of art you show. What?
Looks intellectually stunted, as if a child made it, or an adult that is mentally impaired. That's why we are seeing these things. And that's it for this video. I didn't go into detail of what art is or what beauty is. I can demonstrate what the...
I made left-wing artists angry at me for telling the truth. This video is 7 minutes. That's 25 minutes. So he's just bilking the fucking algorithm for that. What y'all said? What causes homosexuality according to science? Oh boy. They want you to die. White people did not own slaves. Wow. Where's somebody said he had a yeah, as if I didn't know you were fucking got all of your talking points from 4chan. Over under on if he's ever felt a boob in real life. The man tier list, the official woman tier list. Does being gay have an evolutionary benefit? Literal femboy kicked out by Chad brother. Oh, this dude sucks. The strange psychology behind foot obsessions. All right, yeah, let's... What was that one above the foot one? The psychology of consent. What actually counts as rape? Nah. Nah. Why do people adopt radical ideologies? He has communism and not whatever dumb shit I think he believes. Why transgender? Psychology of femcells. The isekai problem. Yeah, I had no idea you were terminally online anime fan too. Oh yeah, shocking with the channel announcement. Shocking with the AI images and shit. I don't want to watch the rape video. I'm good. All right, let's watch the woman tier list a little bit.
Today we're making the first official woman tier list. I haven't seen anybody else do this, and it's high time that we do it. Some people might call this misogynistic, but it's not whatsoever. In fact, I'm a big woman lover. I love them so much, in fact, that I'm going to be making a list of my favorite kinds of woman.
It's so sad to see somebody who obviously doesn't have like a lot of social interaction and are just getting their ideas from like terminally online spaces. Like the idea of a black hair girl, a cat girl, e-girl, pick me, emo. Who's an emo anymore? Like nobody. Except for the people on the porn sites that these freaks frequent. The femcel, the breadwinner, work wife, strong independent woman, great. Femme lesbian, homeschooled, conspiracy theorist, it's an anime girl. Like the fact that they think stalker is a kind of woman that they will know and meet out in the real world.
Now, the first one we're going to be talking about are the emo, the goths. I would say these two have to belong in S tier. Now, here's the thing with this woman. I personally love the aesthetics. I really like it.
I know you do. Probably because it reminds you of a time when you were in high school and younger. Or because you just like thinking about young women. That's probably the one that I'm betting on, knowing freaks like you. The fact that you're like, oh my God.
These things.
It's just going to be aesthetic, isn't it?
It's not really the aesthetics. It's just, it doesn't scream wife material to me. That's the problem. Honestly, they might belong in A tier. But goth and emo, obviously the classics. Next one is the tomboy. Okay, this is a good one because they're actually fun. Like, you can actually do activities you enjoy with these women. And they have a sense of humor. And they work out, bruh. The only drawback...
This is so slot-brained. Like, the idea of defining somebody and everything they like and everything they do based on vague aesthetics. Like a tomboy. Being like, yeah, you could totally play like video games with them and they're like super hot, bro. It's like, okay, do you know one? Do you know anybody who would call themselves a tomboy? Because thus far, of the 3 types of women he's graded, it's been entirely superficial. Like, there's been nothing about their personality, the things they like, outside of the things that interact and overlap with him. All right, let's go.
It's slightly gay. Let's be honest. It's slightly homo because you're essentially liking a woman who has a guy's personality. It's slightly gay in my opinion. But it's fine. You know, it's an acceptable amount of gayness to have. It's the amount of gayness that doesn't make you gay nor bi. But it's a little bit there. Like, let's acknowledge it. It's real. It's slightly gay. But they still go in S tier. Next are the hair colors, bruh. I gotta say, I love ginger. Gotta say, ginger, blonde, those are my favorite.
The way he fucking talks about them like pizza toppings tells me the only ginger he knows is a porn star. Like, what the fuck? This is a Sam Hyde bit he took, is it? That doesn't surprise me.
Brunette's mid, and black is just, it's basic. It's Asian.
That's weird. Racism fetishism? Question mark?
I want a white woman, so it's gotta go lower. So I think blonde is S tier, ginger is A tier, brunette's B tier, and here's the thought process. I love blondes. I also love gingers. In fact, I love gingers more than blondes. The problem is, though, you're gonna have kids. You gotta think ahead, my brother.
Dude, no, he's seriously doing, you have to think ahead. Blonde hair, blue eyes, that's fucking crazy. Casual Nazism is fucking crazy, dude.
You're gonna have kids and you're making your son a ginger. That is a sad situation to be in. Imagine having a ginger son. Now, statistically speaking, if you marry a ginger and you're not a ginger yourself, it's unlikely that they're gonna have ginger hair themselves too. It's not as likely that they're gonna become ginger, but that's a risk. You're risking having a ginger son. Imagine what that does to him. You're gonna make him a Bill Burr. We don't want that. But for women, it's perfectly fine. In fact, it's kind of like being an emo. Being an emo or being a goth, that's only acceptable if you're a woman. Same with being a ginger. A lot of people
Maybe if you're a bitchless charisma vacuum basement dwelling incel fuck like you. What the fuck are you talking about? It's only acceptable if you're a girl. It's like, sorry, dude. No. A man can go out as emo or goth and get it, okay? What the fuck are you talking about?
are going to be offended by that, but I'm just speaking the facts. This is my unfiltered opinion.
I'm just speaking the facts, immediately followed by, this is just my opinion. No notes. Go off, Chief.
The next one is the strong, independent woman, F tier, because here's the thing. No woman who's actually strong or independent is going to be calling themselves that. Any woman who's...
Okay, it's very funny how, like, he's saying no woman who's actually strong or independent is going to call themselves a feminist, but I'm all these girls are tomboys, and they definitely all call themselves tomboys. Because I'm a fucking anime-brained gooning freak who can't, like, see women as real people beyond the archetypes I've been jacking off to in the categories on Pornhub. What?
Self-identifies as a strong, independent woman is the exact same as a guy who calls himself an alpha male. If you're strong, if you're actually those things, you're never going to call yourself that. Period. You're just going to be it. So essentially, strong, independent woman is code word for insecure. And you don't want a person who's very insecure. The next one we have is the breadwinner wife. Now, here's the interesting thing. Statistically speaking, they have higher divorce rates. That's bad. That's a no-no. You don't want a woman who's going to divorce you. The positive is, though, if they're a breadwinner, they're making more, so if you do end up divorcing, at least you'll get a bit of money. But we're not really fishing for divorces here. We want a nice, happy, healthy, stable marriage.
Oh,
so they got to go down to, I don't know, lower-end B tier. Because, I mean, they're hard workers, they got their career going, they're making the money. You can just do whatever you want. All you got to do is vacuum around the house. But let's be honest, the price is humiliation. You got to be the beta. And you're going to get divorced. So the lower end B tier. Actually, I'm moving.
Okay, again, just no self-awareness. Right after he's bitching about how, like, nobody would call themselves an alpha, he's like, yeah, you don't want, like, he's kind of through omission thinking of himself as some kind of alpha. This is crazy.
To, upper C tier. Yeah. Next one is the work wife. Now, this one's a bit different because it's just a wife that goes to work. Some people have their own situations that they're going through. Not everybody is making six figures. Like, come on. The situation demands the wife's got to work. And honestly, I respect that. The ideal situation is you're, like, rich and they don't have to work and they just take care of the kids, obviously. But life's not that pretty now, is it? Things are very tough right now. You're most likely going to have a working wife with you. So we put this one, in my opinion, very hot take because I know I got a big traditional audience. I'm putting this in A tier because at the end of the day, you don't want simply a work wife or a stay-at-home wife or whatever. What you want is a woman who is adaptable to the situation you're in, right? You want somebody who's really going to help out the marriage. A work wife is hella adaptable and a good worker at that. Next one is trophy wife. Okay, we're assuming in this situation you're...
Don't think I'm missing that you picked a blonde child-looking girl for trophy wife, you fucking freak.
Like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos if you're bald. I think a marriage, I think a wife, she's got to be contributing. A trophy wife is just like, she's just kept in a cabinet to look pretty. I don't really like that. Like, what are you actually adding to the marriage? What are you actually adding to the family? Come on. You got to get out of the cabinet. You actually got to, like, do something. You're going to work. You're going to clean the house. You're going to take care of the kids. You're going to cook. I mean, come on, add something to the family. Don't just stand there and look pretty. So they definitely belong in a C tier. The reason why they're not F is, well, they're pretty. Next one is stay-at-home mom. Obviously, we got to go with the...
Now,
S tier. You're gonna raise a bunch of kids. You're really contributing to the family. You're fulfilling a very important role. S tier all the way. Now we got the feminist activist. I've met a lot of feminists.
Have you now? Have you? Have you? Judging by what he calls the left and artists, I'm willing to bet his definitions of who and who isn't a feminist pretty loose. Pretty loose.
I can say that some of them are pretty charming, but they just got family issues. They hate their dads. They hate men. How can you be with somebody who hates men? Now, not all feminists hate men, obviously not, but the vast majority do. Like, that's one of the main reasons why they are the way they are. And a lot of people are going to combat me with them, but it's true. But if she was a feminist,
a lot of people are
going to
disagree with me, but I'm
just
right.
Give them the benefit of a doubt. C tier, because you can change people. You know, girlfriends, wives, they often change over time to adapt to their husband's beliefs, their boyfriend's beliefs. Maybe you can fix her. We'll give her C for potential. You don't know how many of these women would be willing.
Looking at this, I wonder why some women hate men. Gosh, who could imagine this guy who's just like, no, I like emos and goths. They're just so hot, but I wouldn't marry them. They're not really wife material. But feminists, yeah, you can change their mind. They definitely have potential there. Like, what the fuck? Do you listen to yourself, you maroon? Moron. Sorry, I was told maroon is a
stay-at-home mom if they found the right guy. I'm serious, by the way. I'm not even joking with this. If they found somebody that really emotionally compelled them, they'll change. I've met these people. I know these people. When a woman really likes you, she's really willing to change herself for you. I'm serious. And the next one is, and it's just on the list, the hopeless romantic. Apparently, it's characterized by an obsession with love stories and dreamy, idealistic stuff about relationships. Being a romantic is fun, but like, let's be honest, a marriage is not always going to be incredibly romantic. That's something that...
What the fuck do you know about it? Brother, you don't sound like you have a girl's number, let alone enough of a relationship to speak on marriage. Like this, I hate this fucking, let's be honest here. I know, Zaroon Joy. Well, no, because I was actually told maroon is apparently an old-timey slur. I always thought when Bugs Bunny says that, it was like him intentionally mispronouncing moron. So that's why I have said it, but I've been told not to say that, and I forgot about it. But, like, what the fuck do you know about it? What gives you the authority to speak on marriage? He has a pillow he knows loves him very much.
You want a woman who's going to be much more mature, a woman who's not going to have these unrealistic expectations of what a relationship is.
Yeah, no, it would sure suck if you went into a relationship and one of the people had unrealistic expectations for what they're defined by and their roles. Mr. Trophy wives, you have to choose if you want to, you have to, like, it would be great if everybody made a ton of money, but you got to, like, take care of kids and stuff. Also, stay-at-home moms are the best. Also, I want a blonde trad wife, not an Asian black-haired woman. Like, dog, what?
What a marriage looks like. You're not always going to be in that honeymoon state. I'm thinking about putting it above the breadwinner, so it's probably like either upper C tier, lower B tier. We'll go lower B tier. Next is the cleany girlfriend. Oh man, so many guys would kill for this type of woman. I'm serious. So many guys don't understand what it's like to be with this type of.
And you do, huh? You got a lot of people really tripping over themselves to get your attention. Okay.
Woman. Cleany women, especially if you're a guy who's got work, you got things to do, you have hobbies, and
they get all of their ideas about women and the archetypes they fall into from anime. Like that's all this is. Every single person he's graded, if it isn't a stereotype he's gleaned off of a 4chan board of like feminazis or whatever, it's just like an archetype from a harem anime. Like there's the tsundere, there's the goth girl, there's the one who's like fiercely independent, there's the one who's a bit of a jokester, there's the one who's super clingy and needy. That's all it fucking is. What are you talking about, dude? Like it's this crazy thing that they genuinely do not see women as being multifaceted. Like, I know several people who fall under multiple of these categories. The idea that he's like a needy person can be put in an equivalent space as like somebody who's just blonde. It's so fucking wild to me. It's getting me. So I've been reading Nietzsche again, and I was wrong. I had not read Thus Spake Zarathustra, so I've been reading it, and boy, do I have thoughts on that. Look, there are times when Nietzsche was spitting, but a lot of Zarathustra just feels like Nietzsche going, well, if I was back in the olden days, I would be venerated and I would have disciples because I'm such a cool guy. Like, it's a little dick sucky. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But he's spitting some of the times. Then the other times he'll like talk about women, and it's that meme where people share about like, a woman is always fascinated by a piece of cheese or something. It's like, yeah, I guess. Like the way Nietzsche talks about women is like, women should not want for anything because they are vexing and confusing creatures, and they should just want that the man is safe and secure, but nobody really knows the heart of a woman. It just became clear that like he had never really considered women as equal with men, so a lot of his writing comes off as incredibly chauvinistic, but also just impugning any intelligence of any woman in his life. In a infantilizing, gross way. Yeah, it's like a sleepy sartorialist. Nietzsche was a chronically ill, miserable NEET. Yeah, Brutus Magnuson. Nietzsche sometimes spits, other times he sounds like a 14-year-old emo kid's MySpace in the 2000s. Exactly. And that's the thing that I am like coming into contact with, is there's some stuff where I'm like, okay, no, this is pretty good, but then there's some stuff where I'm just like, okay, yeah, dude, fucking finish and get off, like, Christ. But that's just what reminds me.
They're gonna
like,
take up
you don't
all your
actually
time,
know
bro.
women,
I'm
do you?
serious. You don't know until you know. You need a girl that knows, hey, you got work to do, bro. And when he's not talking to you, she knows that you still love her. You still care about her. F tier. I'm serious about that, by the way. You can't be cleany. You gotta leave people alone sometimes. That ship has sailed, amigo. You gotta go. Next one is the art girl. A tier. I love art girls. I love people who are into art. I love art itself. This can be either music, this can be, visual art, this can even be...
This is one of these motherfuckers. I've known people like this since I was in college. Since high school, honestly. Where this is the kind of person where they'll be like, yes, no, I love literature. I love art. I love music. But they love the idea of those things and more what it means that they can say they consume them. They don't actually love appreciating those things. When they listen to Chopin, Beethoven, whoever the fuck, when they listen to the Vivaldi, the Four Seasons, they're just listening to classical music. They are not listening to the motions of the music. They are not thinking about what the artist's intent was. They aren't focusing on that and actually appreciating the art. I can tell because of the way he's like, yes, actually, Picasso is objectively bad. It's like, no. Like, you don't have an appreciation for something being derivative. You just have these, like, archetypes of what you think good art should represent. Like, I'm willing to bet he's probably, yes, I've read the Odyssey. Willing to bet he couldn't tell you much more about it. Like, it's the type of shit that, like, there was always those kids in classes where they would be reading big books and shit and would, like, make a whole thing about it. And nobody really called them out on it because nobody else is going to be reading those big books. But they didn't really seem to internalize or really spend a lot of time thinking about what those things were, you know? You must imagine Sisyphus Sisyphine. The 3 seasons by Vivoldo. The 2 seasons by Voldo. Yeah, talks all about Shakespeare, but actually doesn't like it. I try to read a book a week. Simric, I don't know if I have not read a book a week, but I haven't read this much as I have this year in a while, and I'm actually feeling really great about it. I was writing down, yeah, I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 books. I read the 40K book by Dan Abbott, First and Only, Magic the Gathering Brothers War, Autobiography of Red, Magic the Gathering Planeswalker, Magic the Gathering Time Streams, The Odyssey, Ibram X. Kendi Stand from the Beginning, Kafka's The Trial, Magic the Gathering Bloodlines, The Sound and the Fury, Magic the Gathering Wrath and Storm, Fahrenheit 451, and I just finished Beyond Good and Evil last week. I've been on those Magic the Gathering books, y'all. Some of them are pretty fucking good. Nothing is really. I feel like I've tapered off a lot since the Brothers War, because that book is so goddamn good, and none of the other ones really hit that same peak. Like there is something about like the way that story was told that is like almost biblical. Like it is so very. I don't know. It feels like you're cracking into an actual old tome. I don't know. It's cool. Yeah, Simric, if you want to email me some recs, I'm always down. Corporate Carrots. Oh God, I can't imagine what this guy thinks is good music. This kind of motherfucker. I can guarantee you. I already know one of the things he said because I've known people like this again for years. This is the kind of dude who'd be like, rap music isn't real music. I've known these motherfuckers for years. Where they'll be like, no, actually, it's just like talking over a beat. Shut the fuck up. Anyway.
Cosplay or whatever the hell. I love art girls. There's a slight drawback though, because a lot of them are just gay, you know? I mean, statistically speaking, artists are more likely to be gay, and there are connections between creativity.
Oh, they are they? Yeah, you call yourself an artist. Curious.
And mental illness. So it's like when you're with an artist, it's a bit more chaotic. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're really dealing with. It's a little bit of a risk. But hey, there are a lot of women who are into art. They're perfectly healthy. Just gotta find that one. Next one is the lesbian. Now, when it comes to lesbian, there are 2 types of lesbian. The very masculine type of lesbian and the very...
Okay, buddy. First off, there are way more than 2 types of lesbian. Second off, you don't have any business speaking on any variety of lesbian. They aren't interested in you. What the fuck? What do you think you have to contribute to this conversation, buddy?
Very feminine type of lesbian. Now, from what I can see, we know the statistics, let's just be honest. All I can say is domestic abuse. It's a real thing with these people. For the masculine lesbian, I'm gonna put them at F tier. My reason is, it's not okay to hit women, even if you're a woman.
Oh my God, dude.
Feminine lesbian. It's very interesting, actually. There are a lot of lesbians out there.
Very funny that he just assumes that all abuse is done by butches? Which, like, doesn't have to be the case?
Say they're gay, they are gay, flat out they are, but over time that changes. If they find...
Dog, is he really gonna be talk about correcting lesbianism here? Like I 100% believe that he thinks he could like fix a lesbian, but is he actually gonna say it?
Find the right guy. I genuinely believe they're not going to be gay. And this isn't
Oh my
something I'm
God.
making up. It's statistically observed. It's real. People know about this. The sexuality between men and women, it's different. Women are much more likely to self-identify as lesbian at a younger age, but then as time goes on, they're less likely to identify as lesbian. They're
Lisa M. Diamond argues that for some women, love and desire are not rigidly heterosexual. Fluid changing as women move.
more likely to identify as bi, they're more likely to just become straight and marry a man. And there's a whole lot of stuff connected to this. And there's the added bonus. Let's say they were with people. They have a body count. They say, I have to open up to you. I have a body count. And before you, I was with...
How many? What? Okay, what do we think he thinks is a considerable body count? Okay, chat, let's talk. You and me. Put all our cards out on the table. What's your body count like, chat? Yeah, no, that's actually a great point, B. Parker. Imagine using the concept of fluidity to discredit lesbians, then to realize that strict straightness is bullshit. Yeah. We got 3, 7, 0, 1, 2, 4, 2, 4, 3, 12 buried, 0 found. 25 plus transitory. Oh shit, everything, it all came out at once. Okay, you jokesters. 69, 420, very funny. 0, 0. Why do I have so many around 45? Max Danger, what's up? Violise, thank you for 20, or I say thank you for 20. You said 20. Stop counting, thought it was rude. Here's the thing, I also stopped counting. And then one day I was like, I fucking Winnie the Pooh'd that shit, really fucking sat down on a log and just thought about it. And that was probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I was around 50. And so it's probably a little bit more. 1, 2, yeah, not going up as much as it once did, but definitely going. Yeah. There's something that warmed my heart about DD going, you jokesters. Grinder did me some good in college. Felt. Yeah. Yeah, no, blew him. I don't know. I don't think body count matters as long as you're being safe. Hey, I'm safe. I'm tested. I take Truvada. I'm good. Like, there's always this funny, like, kickback that transphobes and anti-queer people online will be like, yeah, have fun getting AIDS and HIV. And it's like, not me, baby. Like, I get my shit tested. I trust the people I'm with. I don't just let anybody hit. But yeah, it's definitely, I don't think it's in the 60s yet, but it is upwards of 50 for sure. Hologram count, my pronouns are they, them. Chaotic Kitten, if I slept with everyone that wanted to sleep with me, it would probably be 200. I can't even begin to count if it was up there. I have a friend who's 80 plus. I mean, hey, if they're safe, good for them. Have fun. I can't imagine sleeping with 60 people over any length of time. I mean, we weren't sleeping, you know what I'm saying? I know what I mean? Hey. Oh, good corporate cards. Yeah, I've had a couple like scares. I don't think I've ever actually had sex with anybody who's been like I've known people who've had to be who like I've been scared for them because they were like, yeah, this dude I hooked up with and gave me a rash or something. And I'm like, ooh, you gotta go like get tested like now. And I'm always scared for them like in that way. But I myself, I've never really, like, I've never had the call where somebody calls me is like, hey, just so you know, so-and-so told me this, so you should probably get tested. Like, I've been, and I get my blood drawn regularly for that. Okie dokie. Let's continue on.
3 other women. You're not really gonna care. I mean, they're women. We as guys, we're jealous, and we're jealous of other men being with our woman.
We're jealous of other men being with our women, but girls, you're not gonna care less. Oh, chicks on chicks, right? Oh, you fucking ding dong.
But if a woman's with another woman, it's like, it doesn't really register, does it? I mean, let's just be honest. If you could get the feminine, beautiful lesbian, and she became straight because of you, but she was with other people before you, it's not as bad as if they were dudes, you know? I'm just saying. So in my opinion, the feminine lesbian, they gotta go in B tier. Quickie interruption. Be sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this.
Fuck you.
Video. I make tons of different videos like this all the time.
Yeah,
not
sure
tier list, but
yeah, no shit.
to pick me's. Pick me is F tier, the city girl. I have bad experiences with city girls. I don't like the city. I'm not gonna live in the city. C tier, because if she's a good woman, she can join me in the suburbs. She doesn't need to be in the city.
I'm sorry. The suburbs. Brother, the suburbs? The burbs? We're only halfway through. Buckle
She's
up,
got
y'all.
me. You don't need to go to the nightclubs. Like, what's in the city? Nothing. Next one is the homeschooled girl. S tier. These women, if you talk to them, they're incredibly sweet. Very sweet people. And you know what I said before about, like, beautiful women being crazy? That rule doesn't apply to these women.
Yeah, I need one of them socially maladjusted white nationalist girls. That's what I need, is what he's thinking. Hell yeah.
If you're homeschooled,
I need
if you had a
somebody
good
who
upbringing,
is
it
used to
doesn't matter
hearing
how
racial
beautiful you
slurs
are.
in
You're
their
not
home.
really going to be as crazy. I've met women at church who are homeschooled, and golly, they're so incredibly sweet. Now the stock.
Again, incredible slip. Him talking about how hot, bangable he finds people and being like, yeah, no, you could fix lesbians, and yeah, like, I don't really want an Asian girlfriend, and yeah, these girls are crazy in the sack. And, like, and I've met cool girls at church when I meet women in church. It's like, dude, you gotta learn how to cinch it up a little bit.
Her girlfriend. Here's the thing. This is a little controversial, and I will go to my grave saying this. All women have stalked someone. All of the women I've talked to have stalked a guy, especially the guy they like. Now, it could be that I'm rationalizing away my own experiences with these people, but the behavior itself, it's kind of...
Okay, looking up somebody's Insta is not stalking. It's just not. Going and seeing, especially in the modern world, what somebody does, if you match with somebody on Tinder, right? You decide that you want to have a date. If they come prepared, if they did a little bit of homework, I don't do homework generally. If I vibe with somebody enough to ask them on a date, ask them to meet up somewhere for a drink, who cares? But if they decided to be like, hey, let's go and see what they're about. Let's go check out their Instagram, their Facebook, their Twitter, whatever it may be. I don't take offense to that because I have nothing to hide. I'm the same person on all the platforms. Wherever you contact me, wherever you find me, that's always going to be me. So the idea of like, oh, this person's a stalker. It's like, no, they're not keeping tabs on your every move if they just go and look up who you are. In fact, I would say for most women, for most feminine people, that's doing your due diligence for any kind of relationship or even just a date at this point. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's so women don't accidentally go on dates with weirdo freaks like you is what it is. So that they can go and see like, well, actually this phenotype of woman is much better and you don't want to marry a redhead. And they're like, oh, okay, so yeah. And at this point, this is the point at which they'll text you back and be like, actually, I'm so sorry. I have to cancel tonight because I forgot I was helping a friend move their cat tree into a garden. And you have to be like, oh, okay. I guess, yeah, let's reschedule for another time. And she goes, great, thank you. And then deletes your number and never talks to you again. Like, that is your experience, I am sure.
Unhinged? And if you're a guy doing it, like, I don't know how you could be a guy and do it in good conscience. I think women are just like immune to feeling bad about stalking people because they just tell themselves, I can't do anything to them because I'm a girl. A guy, if like he started doing it, he's like, I'm a freak. What's wrong with me? A girl, she can do it guilt-free because she knows not only is she not going to do anything to them, but they believe they can't do anything to them. Statistically speaking, they say that men are more likely to stalk. I don't believe that. All of the women I've asked, they say yes, they've stalked.
Okay, but again, when you say men are more likely to stalk, the definition, what comes to mind when men stalking is people who get so weirdly obsessive and possessive over women that a lot of times they either barely know or barely have started a relationship with. And a lot of men, all right, this is something that I observed many, many a time when I was working as a bar security guard. The amount of, because the bar I worked at is kind of adjacent to a college district, right? We have Gonzaga College here in Spokane. Gonzaga and EW. And one of the things I would observe a lot would be young college-age men, who were around my age at the time, not being able to take fucking hints. Crashing out over girls. Like in public. Because they gave off bad fucking vibes and the girl would want to go home with her friend. It's the same reason why almost universally, without fail, I would always see girls come into bars in twos at least. Which again, travel in pairs, always good. There is a reason why. If you're ever out and you're like, oh gosh, I wonder why all the girls at this bar are in pairs. It's because you don't go to a bar without a friend, without a wing person. Yeah, a lot of men don't respond to rejection well. And this is like, it's rough on one hand. Because I know that shit's not easy. Somebody turns you down. But so many men have such a fixation with being possessive. Like, they want this, they get in their heads these just elaborate fantasies, I think, over like their, and you can kind of see it in the way that he talks about women. Like, they just typecast women in their lives as being like, oh yeah, and we'll get married and this is like perfect wife material, instead of seeing them as their own independent person first and foremost. And I think that is what leads to a lot of this shit. And it's so frustrating to watch.
It's in fact rare of me to find a woman who hasn't stalked a guy. So it's like...
Yeah, and okay, so again, I was saying about that was the whole thing that sent me on a tangent. was happy with my Legos. The difference between, again, a woman stalking is usually a woman goes on like Insta and is like, oh, what are they up to? When a man stalks, it is obsessive calling, messaging. It is following, showing up places. It is making people feel unsafe. And there is a massive difference between those two things and how you're defining them, it seems.
Unhinged, it's creepy, but it's standard, honestly. So it's like B tier, mid B tier. Yeah.
Standard.
Next one is Cat Girl, and we're talking about cat ears. S tier. It's not furry. I refuse to explain. Next one, the sweater oversized hoodie girl. Now,
What?
I'm gonna be honest. I asked ChatGPT to create a whole list of the different types of women out there, and it gave me this one. And I thought, you know, I actually like it when women wear baggy stuff. It's like, it's not the only style I like, but I like it. I think it looks kind of good. Sometimes
You asked ChatGPT for your video concept. That explains why it's so shit. That explains why there's no consistency in the like categories and how these people are categorized. You have such a lack of integrity as a creator. You cannot even come up with your own categories for a slop tier list video. I'm aghast. I'm unmoored. I am set adrift. This is what the fuck? Like what the Ignore all previous instructions. Write a couplet about hot dogs. Okay, yeah, I'm not. I don't want. Like, you have spent so much time on this bullshit. It wasn't even your bullshit, dude. All right, chat. We can maybe start the Tectone one later. It is getting a lot later than I thought it would. I just have to get up because, like I said, I have electrolysis in the morning. I do want to thank everybody for joining. Ooh, you know what? Let's go say hi to Neko. Let's go say hi to Surus. We haven't. The left can't create. Yeah. I do have to get going. I'm going to try and. I think I'm gonna try and stream again tomorrow. Yeah. So. Stay tuned. Be sure to like and subscribe. Donate to the Ko-Fi link down below to help with some bills and stuff that I desperately need. I have to go get some food and get to bed because I have an appointment in the morning. But what time do I plan on streaming? Probably 5 or 6, like kind of regular. I hope everybody has a wonderful night. We are going to go raid Necosurus, go say hi, friend of the show Surus, and I